He's not pitching against Indiana. Every team throughout the postseason the three-game form of the trust series. Game 6, I thought he was super aggressive, super
I'll bring it back.
It's okay. You can be lazy.
Well, there's the charger. I just took it. I'll bring it back. Good evening at 11 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti, and this sport is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Morristown. Still nothing doing for the Met offense. Blanked by the Red Sox 2-0 as they mustered just 4 hits, went 0 for 7 runners in scoring position, left 7 men on. So it was a time maybe to shake that lineup up a little bit to change things up. Clay Holmes allowed a pair of solo shots, gave up 2 runs over 6 with 5 Ks, but the Mets dropped 5 of 6. Will Warren struck out 10 over 5 2/3 scoreless. Yankees finished off the Rangers 5-2. Aaron Judge's 16th of the season. Ben Rice's 10th. They each knocked in a pair. Coming up on Wednesday, Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals. Knicks, Pacers, rivalry renewed. They've met 8 times in the playoffs, including last year. Pacers, of course, winning 5 of the 8 matchups, with Tom Thibodeau not buying that means anything as we head to tomorrow night. And the Thunder have taken total control in the second half, a 104-86 lead on the T-Wolves, under 3 minutes left. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 11 in the first half. He's got 31 now with 3 minutes left. 59 degrees, cloudy skies, Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
Yeah, let's get it, folks. Quick 3 hours. Let's get to it. Here's the 3 main things. The Mets dropped the series in Beantown, and yeah, it is time to shake up the lineup. It is time to ask some questions. It's time to start examining some things. It's not time to panic. It's not time to worry. This is just baseball doing baseball things, but it's almost Memorial Day weekend, and yeah, the Phillies are up right now, and first place is gone, and you're kind of looking around like, get shut out. Got Garrett Crochet on the mound tomorrow. Yankees win this first game against Texas. They do what they're supposed to do, and obviously we get ready for the Knicks to do what they're supposed to do against the Pacers. Those are the 3 main topics. I'm sure I'm going to talk about the Western Conference Finals Game 1 at some point. I do want to talk about this like flag football and the Olympic stuff. at some point if we have time to get to it. Freshly back from Yankee Stadium, but I do want to start with the Mets. As I was in Yankee Stadium looking at the out-of-town scoreboard and checking the at-bat app, and the first thing that I put in my notes about this game was Walker Buehler got ejected. Alex Cora got ejected in the third inning. So immediately my mind thought advantage Mets. 888-808-1019. If you watched the Met game and you were able to see every pitch, every out, talk to me. Now, I know I'm not the guy that you really want to talk to or hear it from. Shoot the messenger. I'll be the bearer of bad news. This is bad, and it's compounded. As Juan Soto has been talked about on the Fan all day and online all day, and as people want to tell me to stop talking about Juan Soto, my rebuttal has been it's on Sports Center. It's national news now. The Mets are under a microscope now because they have the highest paid player in the sport, and he's not shuffling. To hell with the shuffling. It's time to reshuffle the deck. And what I mean is you have over $100 million in the top of that lineup. Break it up. And I know there's people that are going to say, no way, no way, no way. Lindor, Soto, Alonso, it has to be that. No, you have to change something up. And when I say it's compounded, I'm not being a Yankee fan hater on Soto. I'm not coping or crying or any of that nonsense. I'm talking baseball-wise. A lot of this is on Soto. He's bringing a lot of the attention, and he's not producing enough. And also, he's batting second, where you might want to consider breaking up the three of Lindor, Soto, Alonso to lengthen your lineup. You need to get those three guys going again. You really need to get Juan Soto going. So why not make a move against Garrett Crochet tomorrow? You already lost the series. Garrett Crochet, he's their ace, but why not try to do something here before you go to LA to face the Dodgers, where the Dodgers, the Dodgers come to Citi Field, excuse me, before you face the Dodgers, who just got swept by the Anaheim Angels, and you play well at home. You want to have a happy flight going into the off day before you face the team that knocked you out in the NLCS. What do you have to lose to shake it up? You don't want to wait until that first game of the Dodgers series. The Dodgers are going to play up too, and everybody's going to be watching. That's a big weekend. That's a holiday weekend. Fireworks night, Kodai Senga jersey night, Mark Vientos bobblehead. And that's another thing. Mark Vientos, it's, as I start talking about the big money guys that are making all the money at the top, I think the issue is guys like Nimmo and Vientos not coming through. 2 nights ago, they were both 0 for 4, each with a strikeout. It can't happen. This lineup is supposed to be one of the best in baseball. There was so much conversation about the first 4 or 5 hitters for the Mets being the best in baseball. They got to shake it up. They got to change it up. And it's not panic time, but baseball is doing baseball things. And what you're supposed to do is react to the baseball things. And now it's a question that the media is asking Carlos Mendoza. I don't know if David Stearns and his analytics want to do this, but when I say it's compounded with all the attention that Juan Soto brings and Juan Soto batting second, maybe you shake it up. Maybe you put Vientos second. Maybe you shake it up. Maybe you put Alonso in the cleanup spot. Maybe you put Nimmo second. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer, but all I'm saying is this is not working. This offense is not scoring. And tonight was the night where it's like, damn, Walker Buehler, their starter, gets punched in the third inning and their manager is gone. So you would think, okay, advantage Mets with Clay Holmes on the mound. Not so much. 2 solo shots beat you. And it's funny, I was just talking about the Subway Series and how last year the Yankees put Jahmai Jones leadoff, J.D. Davis cleanup, and Carlos Narvaez was the number 9 hitter catching. And many Met fans say, oh, you said that the Yankees didn't try last year. You always try. Once you step between the lines, you try. But there's a difference between putting your best foot forward and not. There's a difference between putting out a punt lineup and putting your best guys together. And the Yankees put together punt lineups last year. They took the Mets lightly last year. They didn't take them lightly this year. 888-808-1019 as we transition into the Yankees. You know, all the talk about it being the Yankees World Series, whatever. Everybody watched. ESPN delivered its most watched Sunday Night Baseball in 7 years. Averaged 2.5 million viewers. It peaked at 3 million. Up 69% from last year's Sunday Night Baseball season average. Baseball is better when New York shines. This is the baseball capital. This is the mecca of baseball on both sides. Obviously, the Yankees are the Yankees, but there's a lot of money being spent on the Mets. There's a lot of expectations. There are good players on the Mets and a fan base that wants to see the Mets be what they can be what they're supposed to be. Continue with, you know, the OMG Mets, the grimace Mets from last year into this year, which they did start off that way, but now they're cooling off a little bit. And it seems like, you know, on the other hand, which is crazy, it's like a seesaw. It's like a flip of a coin. The Yankees, you know, they go out there tonight after having the day off yesterday, and they pick up where they left off. You know, Ben Rice was due. Judge was due. They both homer. Ben Rice drives another run in. Volpe had to have a moment, had to do something. He came through. You know, that's all the Yankees would really need. But the story in Yankee Stadium is, I got to be Big Show Bob tonight. Shout out to Mark Zuckerman and the sales team and the clients that we hosted in the WFAN suite. I got to peacock around and be Big Show Bob tonight. Paulie said, bring me back some sweets and some goodies. I said, I got you. I'll bring you back some cookies and stuff because I'm Big Show Bob tonight. And watching that game was about Will Warren, TWTW, the will to Warren, the will to win. Thank God for this kid. His last few starts, he's striking out everyone. He's getting his strikeout totals up. Sweeper, sinker, whatever. This kid has figured it out in a way that I didn't see coming. Just a few weeks ago was, well, Carlos Carrasco start, Will Warren start. Don't know what you're going to get. Have the bullpen ready. Man, this kid just keeps topping his own season high. 10 Ks. He goes 5 2/3, only giving up 5 hits. And he's going out there against guys that were world champions 2 years ago. He's going out there in Yankee Stadium to start the series against Patrick Corbin, a veteran, a guy that's been there and done that. And he looks much better than Patrick Corbin. Shout out to Will Warren for figuring it out and saying, nah, you know, I had a little taste of it last year, and I want to be in this rotation this year, and this team is good, and I want to be a part of it, and I'm going to get in the lab, and I'm going to figure it out. 888-808-1019. I love watching this kid pitch because we know he's always had the stuff from spring training from last year. He just needed to get his command. He needed to get his confidence, and now he looks like a vet. Now he looks like a threat. I didn't even mean to rhyme, but like he's literally a threat out there on the mound where, yo, coming off Max Fried to Will Warren, and when Carlos Rodon is going right, before you know it, Luis Gil is back. If the Yankees trade for another starter, not to leave out Clark Schmidt, but like how quickly we went from a patchwork rotation where the rotation was cause for concern to now being like, yo, we're good. We're good. And the defense behind him, obviously he struck out 10, but you got strike him out, throw him out, double plays. You've got Peraza, going over the tarp. The Yankees defense being tight. The Yankees defense playing up. The Yankees look locked right now. They look dialed right now. They look like they're on a mission right now. And you know what's great about the Yankees too? Help is still on the way. Help is still very much on the way. You just got Loaizaga back. You're going to get Scott Efros or JT Brubaker or Jake Cousins. You'll have different guys to play with as far as the bullpen goes. And then at some point, very soon, Jazz is coming back. I think we did get an update on Jazz. Brian Hoke said, check it in on Jazz Chisholm Jr. Could resume hitting off velocity in the next few days, Aaron Boone said. Chisholm is asymptomatic. Boone added that Chisholm may need to play in 1 or 2 minor league games on rehab. He'll be back next month. He'll be back in June. Heel is supposed to be back in June. And Giancarlo Stanton is just on ice. He's just waiting. He's just chilling. They don't need me. They don't need me. So things are, turning up good for the Yankees. I have no complaints with what I've seen in these last few weeks. This month of May has been great for the Yankees. They are handling business, doing what they got to do. They're in first place. Sucks that the Mets weren't able to knock down the Boston Red Sox, but I mean, they still have a 4.5 game lead. Now, I mentioned the Mets being in second place, a game back. And I think last time I looked at the Phillies score, here we are, bottom of the ninth. The Phillies are playing the Rockies. The Rockies are absolute bums. I was about to say dog S. The Phillies are 7-3 in the bottom of the ninth against the Rockies out in Colorado. You already know what's going to happen there. I mean, the Yankees go there next. So 888-808-1019. We'll start with the Mets and the Yankees. But again, I know the Met fan might not want to talk to me. I'm a Mets hater. I'm always trolling the Mets, whatever. But no, this is cause for concern. Even Steve Cohen is poking his head out on Twitter like, oh, man, well, got to pick him up. Got to have some better morale coming off the Subway Series, coming off, Soto not hustling, coming off all these reports about Soto wants to be a Yankee and Soto is uncomfortable and all this. Soto ducked the media. Steve Cohen comes out there and just reminds you that welcome to the ups and downs of a baseball season. This too will pass. He will lead us. Steve Cohen knows he's a fan like you are, and David Stearns, and you just got to get through it, man. It's a season where you don't have the powers of Grimace from last year. I'm not even trolling. You don't have Candelita and OMG. You did lose some guys in your bullpen. You did lose Jesse Winker and a guy like Jose Siri who can manufacture a run with speed. Like now these guys that you're dependent on, and I haven't even talked about like lower in the lineup for the Mets. Like there's some guys lower in the lineup that I don't know if you even need them. Like Francisco Alvarez is a problem right now. I'm not sure about Francisco Alvarez as he's been back. I'm not going to kill Brett Beatty because I think he's the last Met to homer, and he had a little stretch, a little run here, but it's just got to be better, man. They're leaving runners on base, 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They'll get somebody on and they'll squander it. I think did Lindor get thrown out on the base pass? I don't know. It's not looking good, and it's compounded. And winning cures all. I said it last night. Hey, winning cures all. Go out there and get a win against the Boston Red Sox, and all this stuff goes away. It doesn't go away. Lindor talked about the team and their culture. He talked about the team and how winning brings them together. They're losing right now. They're in a little bad stretch right now. They still have one of the best records in baseball, yes, but there's a tough stretch here on the way, and they got to shake something up with this lineup. I think it's worth doing right now, especially with get Juan Soto out of the 2 spot, see if he responds. Pete Alonso was looking like an MVP. Now he's not looking so great. And on defense, he hasn't been looking great. Like you got to do something to shake up the lineup, shake up the team. And maybe they can get to Garrett Crochet tomorrow with Tyler McGill on the mound. Is Tyler McGill pitching tomorrow? Yeah. So like, I don't know if there's a time to do it before the Dodgers series. I think tomorrow's the time. And the Yankees probably won't play tomorrow. With this rain, they're probably going to push this game. You'll probably get the doubleheader on Thursday. I know DeGrom is supposed to go, and people are excited about that, but, it's probably going to get pushed if there's rain. I did hear something about a Radio City Music Hall watch party for the Knicks fans that have been outside in the, like the fan plaza or whatever. So tonight we'll talk Yanks, we'll talk Mets, and we'll definitely start getting into the Eastern Conference Finals matchup. Pacers and Knicks, how you're feeling, how you're thinking. Keep McPherson on the fan. When we come back, we'll do the big shot of the night, and we'll get rolling with the calls. I've already got a bunch of people on the line. I want to talk to you, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, and we'll go through it. KM to AM returns right after this. All right, chat, let's get it. Lindor, PD, or $1 billion man. They got to break up that top three. Extend your lineup. I know Soto doesn't want to bat anywhere but second, but like, how much are you going to keep catering to Juan Soto? Alonso has bat fourth and fifth before. Drop him in the lineup some. You need to drive in runs. But I know like some of these guys on base percentages shit. So it's like, what are you really going to do? Stick with it. Alonso will never revert back to his patented 230 batting average by Alonso will revert back to his patented 230 batting average by September. I don't know, maybe. I feel like they say in football, if you have two QBs, you have none. Who's in charge in the Met locker room? That phrase has changed because I tell people all the time, in this NFL, if you don't have two QBs, you're screwed because that first quarterback's going to get hurt at some point. That first quarterback's going to go down. You need to have two solid QBs. Look at the Giants. They learned. Daniel Jones gets hurt every year. Finally, it took them years to put a room together. But yeah, who runs that Met locker room? I don't know. Is it time for a team meeting? Obviously, Lindor, Nimmo, but like that's where I say like this Soto stuff is compounded, man. He's bringing so much negative attention and conversation to the team, and he's not producing. So my boy Gabe said they might be doing a Radio City watch party for the Knicks because it's gonna rain. Yeah, just an FYI, Knicks fam. Knicks are doing a viewing party at Radio City Music Hall. I'll put the info right here for you guys. Give me a minute. Desktop. Right here. Radio City Music Hall, Eastern Conference Finals, Wednesday, May 21st. Doors open at 7. Game tips off at 8. There will not be an MSG outdoor watch party for Game 1, so lock in your tickets. Meet us at Radio City Music Hall. Admission to the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1 watch party is $10 and will benefit the Garden of Dreams Foundation. What dugout dance? The Mets were doing a dance? The dugout dance before the Met game was embarrassing? He does. I mean, in that one picture, he looked a little bit like somebody even hit me. They're like, bro, the picture that you put up of Juan Soto with Meredith, he looks slim compared to how he looks now. But what somebody clarify that. What does that mean? The dugout dance before the Met game was embarrassing? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Were they dancing for some reason? Let me go back in the chat. Green Monster threads? Nah, I wasn't thinking about Green Monster or Boston at all. I was in the suite tonight, so I didn't want to just wear a jersey. I wore my green like button down hat, just tried to just like swag my fit a little bit, like just came through dripping. Great show, Cam. Be listening tonight. No chat or tweeting. I am out. All good, Josh. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app, as well as 1019 FM, 660 AM, WFAN.com. Thanks. It's not easy being green. Yeah. Yeah. Seeing green. Can Keith even see the chats here? Yeah, but I was kind of, am I open? I kind of like, I try not to read my open, but in my open, I have like little notes and things. And I'm also just in my head, like getting my thoughts out. So what you just saw me do in my open, I wasn't acknowledging the chat at all. No. Keith, I called to ask at the beginning of the season about the next gen baby bombers, and you were right. Saying Big Willie Cy. Yeah, NYY Young Boys. All right, here we go. The big shot of the night is brought to you by WFAN and me, Keith McPherson. Bright lights, big city. You know we got a bunch of big shots, but tonight's big shot of the night is a homegrown NYY young boy, TWTW, the Will to Warren. Will Warren, Big Willie style. They just called him Will I Am. Will on the Hill. We got to keep coming up with nicknames for Will Warren now because he's earned that. He deserves that. He keeps topping his last outing. And I was pumped up watching him strike guys out in the stadium tonight. 10 Ks, 5 2/3, 5 hits, 1 walk. His command is there. He is looking like he's grown up early on in the season. Boone has talked about how he can see his confidence. And yeah, when you just look at his numbers, just go back to his last few starts, go to his game logs. This young man has really started to put it together, and it is so solid for the Yankees. And it's no coincidence. Just look at the month of May with the Yankees and look at what Will Warren has been able to do tonight against Texas. Then even when you go back to Seattle, he went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, striking out 9. You go back to Sacramento, he goes 7 1/3, his longest outing of the season, 4 hits, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. And then if you go to Tampa on May 4th, 4 2/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned runs. But that was where we started to see the strikeout stuff, right? 8 strikeouts there. That was his career high. And now he stayed around there. I haven't been betting, but his strikeout prop is pretty much a lock. I'm sure it's probably around 5.5. And he's in his last 4 outings had 10 tonight, 9 before that, 7 before that, and 8 before that. So I've just been really impressed with the young guy, Will Warren, age 25, a whole rookie, stepping up here for the New York Yankees. His warm-up song, I don't know what it was, Leonard Skinner or something like that. I was rocking to his warm-up song, and I'm like, shout out to my boy Gabe. He's like, my dad used to play this in the car all the time. I should have Shazammed it or something, but I'm like, this guy's an old soul, 25 years old. He's out there warming up to this, and he balled. He held it down for the Yankees tonight. Should have been a shutout. Shout out to Mark Leiter Jr. coming in, doing his thing. Devin Williams, bro. I already apologized to Devin Williams. I don't got to apologize again. But what I'll say about Devin Williams is, like, I did not see him turning it around literally the next month. I did not see the airbender figuring it out. I did not see him finding it like this that fast. Now, do I want him in the closer spot? No. That's Weavy Wonder. And even tonight, it's another outing, like how they tried to put De Los Santos in there the other night, like, and they like leave it to Weaver. That, you know, they got to just go to Weaver. All right, now it's a save situation. Put Weaver in there, and Weaver will come in and get it done. Weaver is a psychopath. He doesn't care. Call on me. He's ready. He's whatever. I'll throw a couple pitches. We'll get out of this thing, and he'll be ready to go tomorrow too. So great. Yankees win. Will Warren, big shot of the night. 888-808-1019. My guy Mo from the bleachers on the Fan. Were you out there tonight, Mo?
No, I wasn't out there.
Yeah, I didn't think I saw you. I wasn't in the bleachers, but I walked past. I took a little bird's eye view, from the like handicap area.
There you go. I hope to see you, man. I haven't been out yet this year, man. I've just been so busy with life. But just I wanted to tell you, first of all, I gotta eat it with Devin Williams the way you did. I didn't see him. I thought he was cooked. I didn't think he was made for New York, but he's turned it around, and just as fast as he was in the beginning, it's been that like dominant since, and I didn't think he was gonna turn it around that quick.
That's what it was, bro. You just said it. You didn't think he was made for New York, and that was part of me. So I'm like, maybe it's just not gonna work here. Maybe, but hey, I'll shut my mouth. It's just I spiraled one night with all the things from Pete Alonso broke him. They changed the beard policy. Maybe he's not cut out for New York. He's going to be a free agent. We're not going to re-sign him. Are they going to trade him? This isn't good to have him. Weapon.
Yeah, And you know what? Like you said, there's a lot of reinforcements. You're not going to be seeing a De Los Santos. You're going to be bringing in a Jay Cousins when you're up 4. You're going to be bringing in, pitchers that are just at the bottom of the order that you're just bringing in, and they're literally the cannon fodder. They're going to be gone once Ambrose comes back, and Brubaker comes back, and comes back. That will going to get deeper. But switching to the other side, the Mets, I'm telling you, there's just too much smoke. There's too much smoke. They're winning. They got one of the best records in baseball, and he looks miserable. He looks absolutely miserable. I never seen him not run out a ground ball when he was in the Yankees. He smiled all of last season. He stood in front of the cameras. I just don't think he wants to be there. I turned to a couple of my friends and I said, this has the makings of A-Rod Part 2. I mean, A-Rod, let's not forget, he wanted to go to the Mets. And he signed that big contract with Texas. And I just imagine the Mets were 17-25. Imagine they were below 5. If he's this miserable now, you see it in his body language. I wish, if it was just one thing, but it's I wish I had Aaron Judge behind me. And, the report coming out saying that he wanted to be a Yankee, his family that did this, and his seemingly lack of hustle. And you combine all of these things together, I just don't think he's happy. And it's not a knock on the Mets. It's not a knock on Cohen. It's not a knock on anything. It's just some players just want to be in certain places. He seems to thrive. He's one of the best players in baseball, but he seems to thrive when he's rocking. When you put a Judge, it was Judge's team, and that was Batman. He was rocking. It was Tatis's team. It was Machado's team. He fits it great with that other player. That not secondary piece, but that other tower, that other king with him, the King Kong and Godzilla. I don't think he relishes being just the man.
Sorry, Mo. I didn't mean to even. I literally didn't. I was waiting for you to finish, and my thumb slipped. I wouldn't cut you off like that. But yes, I was out there. But I also think Yankee fans, we gotta get off of it a little bit. I know it's gonna go on forever, but that's why I opened up. But this whole thing is compounded by the attention that Juan Soto brings and the lack of production. And I think it's definitely bleeding into the clubhouse. I think it's affecting the other players because, like I said, the Mets are in the headlines, and the headline is all Juan Soto. He's the richest player on the team. He gets perks that the rest of the players don't get. He gets to bat second, where maybe that's not the best spot for him right now. Also, I just think we have all made a lot over what Juan Soto is or isn't off of just this early on. And this is just so tough because, like you said, it's New York. So half of New York's fans, a little more, we're like, yo, we saw him. He was smiling. I posted about it today. I'm like, I got a picture of him smiling ear to ear after a game a year ago where he hit 2 home runs against the White Sox. But I think it's more than, I think the guy loves baseball. I think it's just an adjustment. And I think with Juan Soto is about Juan Soto. So why Juan Soto is unhappy? It's not because he doesn't like blue and orange. It's not because he doesn't like Mr. Met. It's not because he wishes there was still an OMG sign. Juan Soto wants to be the best hitter on the planet. He views himself as such. Juan Soto wants to shine. He wants to come up big. He wants to come up clutch. He wants to hit home runs. He wants to win. If that's not happening, nobody is happy. So I don't expect him to have a smile. Now, when you talk about the Mets too, let's refresh our information a little bit. All the talk about best record in baseball and they're winning. Are they? After the Cubs series, they lost that last game against the Pirates. They dropped 2 against the Yankees. So that's losing 3 out of 4. They just dropped these first 2 and lost this series. So now they've lost 3 games in a row. They've lost back-to-back series. And when you go and look at the standings, they have now dropped out of first place. And they are 4-6 in their last 10. So that's what I'm saying. If you don't think players know all of that, think about all of that. And then on top of it, these guys have cell phones. They have social media. They have family. They have friends. And all the conversation is around Juan Soto. Why is he not happy? He wanted to be a Yankee. Why did he duck the media? And it starts to get crazy. And it's a lot for players to just shake off and go out there and perform. And then when you get shut out, when you can't score, and just look at how they've lost these games. They got shut out by the Pirates. And I know the Pirates have good pitching, whatever. Like the Yankees went and got worked by Andrew Heaney. And I get it. But like, this was supposed to be one of the best lineups in baseball. They have over $100 million and they're just, they're top 3 hitters. In that Pirate series, even in the games that they won, they scored 4 runs, they scored 2 runs, blanked on the 14th of May, 2 runs in the first game against the Yankees, 3 runs barely against the Yankees in the second game, 2 runs in Sunday Night Baseball that the whole world watched, the whole baseball world watched. It wasn't the World Series, but the whole baseball world was watching it like it was. 1 run in the first game against the Red Sox, nothing today. And from what I'm seeing as I'm watching on my phone and looking at it, I'm like, they just it's just like, it's not good enough at bats. It's swinging at the first pitch. It's striking out, trying to be a hero. They need more situational hitting, but also it's like, where is the power? Where is these guys at the top of the lineup that are supposed to be the best hitter? Paul Skeens was like, even when these guys slump, their slumps are slumps. I think they need to do something to shake the Mets offense up tomorrow against the Red Sox and Garrett Crochet before this homestand, where they do play better at home, but you want to try and roll the dice here a little bit against the Red Sox. You already lost the series going into an off day before you face the almighty Dodgers. And then, of course, you have a stretch of the White Sox and Rockies to get right, but why not try to get right on your way out of Beantown? Charles is in Deal, New Jersey on the Fan. What's up, Charles?
How you doing, man? Before I get into my point about the Mets and the lineup and everything, I went to the game. I'm a diehard Mets fan. I went to the game on Sunday, and obviously I was miserable that they lost. Like when Alonso makes that terrible throw, I got Yankee fans oh, look at this goal. I gotta tell you, I had a great time. If you guys bring that energy, bro, it was a blast in there. It felt like a playoff game, even though it wasn't my home team game. It was a blast. When I was there with my brother, the diehard Mets fan. There was a good friend of mine, a big Yankee fan. So we had a great time.
Yeah, it's lit, bro. I was there tonight, 40,000 plus on a Tuesday night against Texas. We do bring the energy. It's great for a baseball atmosphere, no matter when you go.
Yeah, bro, I had a blast. But anyway, to the Mets, it's just so I can't tell you honestly that I've watched a lot of bad baseball with this team, and I know they have a good record, and I know the pitching's been unbelievable, that we probably wouldn't have expected that. And it's so funny, right? Because if you look at the beginning of the year, it was this offense is amazing. They're going to have to carry the team to get over this mediocre pitching staff, and it's been the complete opposite. The pitching carried the team, and the lineup's been, weighing them down. But I do agree with you. I think I heard you say earlier on in the show that they should switch it up a little bit. I mean, what do you lose by not doing it? The offense already 8 runs in the last 6 games. You haven't hit a home run since Brett Beatty's go-ahead home run in the 7th inning of that middle game against the Pirates. What do you have to lose? You're facing one of the best pitchers in the game tomorrow. Switch it up a little bit. You got to just keep switching things around and mixing and matching until you find something that works. You can't just stick with the same old thing every night after night after night. It's clearly not working. I'm a little concerned about this lineup, less concerned about Soto than I am about guys like, let's say, Mark Vientos or Brandon Nimmo. And when the top 3 in this lineup, when you got, Lindor, who's cooled off quite a bit, you got Alonso, who came off his high horse on the unbelievable start he had to the season. Obviously, Soto hasn't performed to the level that we would expect yet. But that bottom of the lineup with Alvarez, sometimes you got Marte in there, Acuna, Beatty. I mean, these guys just don't hit. They're just 3 outs at the bottom of the lineup. So if they're not producing at the top 3, then they're not going to score any runs. And that's exactly what's happening right now. They're not scoring any runs. So they got to switch it up. I don't think that's even a question. They have to change it up a little bit and find a way to get something going, because it's been atrocious to watch. So bad.
Thanks for the call, Charles. I just think it's it now is the time. It's not early anymore. I know everybody will tell you it's May. You're now not in first place anymore, and you need some type of jolt of energy. You need something. Winning cures all. That's go back to that. One win will give you a happy flight back from Massachusetts. One win will erase the negativity. If you get swept in Boston with you come out of Yankee Stadium and all the Juan Soto stuff, then you go to Beantown, get swept by those bums, and then you come home. it kills the vibes for your Memorial Day weekend hosting the Dodgers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why not figure out something? And I don't expect them to do it, honestly, because Steady Mendy, as I like to call him, he's steady hand. And I don't think that they want to show that like even a little bit of panic or that even a little bit that like the press and the media and all the talk is getting to them. But it's clear. It is obvious to me this Juan Soto stuff is heavy on Juan Soto, but I think also the team is affected because you think those guys don't want to pick up their teammate. You think they don't want to help him out. And if the reports that are, out there are true about him being glum or moping around or not taking to the Mets or Mets hierarchy being like, like you think like Lindor is the captain of the team. Nimmo is a leader on the team. Alonso loves the team. Like I'm sure, and they've had their own issues and clubhouse stuff and team meetings. Like they want to break out of it. But I think a way to help them break out of it is change the lineup. Hell, the Yankees change the lineup every series. They had a new lineup out there today. They have Ben Rice hitting behind Volpe because they just love to go lefty, righty, lefty, righty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, whatever. It worked. It worked. But like, you can't be so married to, I think you can't be so married to right now, like Nimmo as your cleanup hitter. For what, bro? Like, and I guess, and I know he had a 9 RBI game and he has some pop. Put Alonso in the cleanup spot. Alonso is bad at 4th, has bad at 5th. Soto, I know, is Juan Soto. You give this guy a freaking clothing allowance for his mom, and you give him the number 2 spot in the lineup because that's where Soto likes to hit. That's where he hit in front of Judge, but he's not hitting in front of Judge anymore. Maybe I want to drop you to 3. Maybe I want to put Vientos at 2. Maybe I want to put Alonso in cleanup. Drop Nimmo down a little bit more. Like, you got to get Vientos going. You got to get Nimmo going. Brett Beatty, he had a little good week, but like I don't really expect him to get going. Alvarez, I know he's young, but he's supposed to be a power hitting catcher. They tried to liken him to, I don't know. Anyway, 888-808-1019. I got some information. Bill in Garden City told me. The song is Black Dog by Led Zeppelin. I'm about to look that up. Maybe we'll come back with the rejoin because I was rocking it in there with Will Warren. That's Will Warren's warm-up song. What'd I say? Leonard Skinner? It's not Leonard Skinner. It was Led Zeppelin. So Keith McPherson on the Fan, 888-808-1019. We'll take more calls on Juan Soto, the Mets, the Yankees when we come back. But then once we get into 12, it's Wednesday. It's Eastern Conference Finals time. We'll start talking about that too. BRB. I don't think there's any curse words, but yeah, look up Black Dog by Led Zeppelin. And I have no idea what the song is about. You know that song? No, that was my mistake. I have a bunch. I was talking to somebody about that today. I'm like, I always am. I'll see something on Twitter and I'll put it in my notes and I sent you the wrong one. Even tonight, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like audio clips from Twitter for the Eastern Conference Finals, and I got to make sure they're all. Actually, let me do that now. It won't be me with you. Fleegs is back. Oh yeah, I do know Nico. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what's going on in the chat, man. Working on some things. Shmuel said, "Nice drip." That jacket gets kind of hot. I wore it because it was a little cooler tonight. It was a little chillier tonight. It's crazy because it was like I was in a tank Saturday at the stadium. It was summertime. Had a little bit of a fall breeze tonight. Mets can't even help the Yanks out by beating the stinky Red Sox. That's so. I quote tweeted on Twitter. Like, I'll show you guys my tweet. They think I'm trolling, but like, I'm rooting for the Mets to beat the Red Sox 10 times out of 10. And like, I said, come on, son, because that's a game that they should have won. They lost by 2 solo shots. You know the phrase, solo shots never beat anybody? They lost from a Carlos Narvaez solo shot and a Rafael Devers solo shot. They had opportunities. And if you lose a game, and I'm going to say this when I come back, you lose a game where the starter gets ejected in the 3rd inning, what are we doing? They're moping around. They're letting it happen. So this was my, and you know, Met fans are always super Aggie when it comes to me. Understandable. Like, I'm a generational Met hater, and you know, they feel some type of way. So I said, come on, son. And people are like, oh, well, let it go. And I'm like, you know, some people defended me. They're like, he's a Yankee fan. You think he's not rooting for the Red Sox to lose? I'm rooting for the Red Sox to go 0-162. That was a game that they should have bounced back. Like I said, we're in the stadium, and I'm like, wait, Walker Buehler got ejected in the 3rd inning? Alex Cora got rung up too? All right, well, this should be a game for the Mets to win. Nope. Flag football in the Olympics is the equivalent to breakdancing in the Olympics. Yeah, it's cool. Oh, I'm gonna talk about it, bro. The flag football in the Olympics thing, to me, I've had this theory on WFAN. In probably 20 to 30 years, I think around 2050, there will be no more smash mouth football, helmets, pads. There will be none of that. We're gonna be watching NFL football and the best football players in the world playing pansy ass flag football. I was rooting for the Red Sox, of course. Oh well, I was rooting for the Mets against the Red Sox. F everything, Boston. Correct. You're yeah. I like this. Sounded good in the stadium. That part right there. Keith McPherson on the fan, talking sports, taking calls, 888-808-1019. This is Will Warren's warm-up song. The kid is 25. You know, he can come out to some I don't know, some Cardi or some Lil Uzi or I don't know, Juice World or something. He comes out to Black Dog by Led Zeppelin. 1971. He was born in 2000. It doesn't matter. That's why I said maybe he's an old soul. He's pitching like one now. He's locked in now. He's pitching like Garrett Cole, 10 strikeouts. Sheesh. I didn't know he had it in him like that. I knew but like that's the thing. He had the stuff in spring training. It was about command, control, and confidence, and he has it now. That's what happened last year. It's infectious. Winning is contagious. I remember David Peterson from the Mets last year saying, no one wants to be the one to let this team down. No one wants to be the one to have a bad performance that like leads the team to losing. He's one of the youngest guys on the team. And like, not for nothing, yo, when you're looking at this Yankees team, the Yankee youngsters, the NYY young boys, like what I love about it is no one can tell me that this team is not going to be competitive in the years to come. Judge is going nowhere. And they are getting contributions from guys like Oswald Peraza, Austin Wells, Ben Rice, Volpe, and Will Warren. All those guys, I believe, are 26 or younger. I think the oldest one in the bunch, I think 25 and younger. Is Ben Rice 26 yet? Ben Rice is 26. Man, Like that's good. You're getting contributions from young players. So you have cost-effective players, you have homegrown talent. It's great. It's great. That means the future is solid. The Yankees are going to continue to be good. I try to tell you, they're always good. They're not going to fall off. And now that they have young, cost-effective players in free agency, they can go out there and pluck the players that they need. You know, I was talking about the Mets in my chat and how like Yankee fans are rooting for the Mets to beat Boston. I'm rooting for the Mets to beat Boston every single time. Knock them down. I would love to get a little bit of a cushion because the same way I'm saying baseball stuff is happening to the Mets, baseball stuff is going to happen to the Yankees. It already has. But there's going to be a stretch where the Yankees lose games. There's going to be a stretch where I'm roasting the Yankees, where I'm killing the Yankees. It could happen in June. It could happen in July. It usually happens in August. But like you want to start to get a little cushion with the Yankees winning like this. I might help us out. Help us out. But there's something going on with the Mets right now, and we know what it is. It's the Juan Soto story and all of the attention that Juan Soto is getting because Juan Soto is not looking like Juan Soto. Many people in New York and in this area think that it's just a Yankee Met thing. No, the Subway Series is over. But this echo chamber that we're in makes you think that it's not a national. I'm watching SportsCenter today. It's on the ticker. Carlos Mendoza to speak to Juan Soto about not hustling. Like, that's not a good headline. Yeah, it's not a good headline for the highest paid player in the sport to have to be told to run out of the box. And so when that is going on, like, I don't know what Mendy did or didn't do behind closed doors. I don't know if he spoke to the team. I don't know if Lindor had to say something to Soto. Like, there might be some things going on. Alonso, Nimmo, and even the young guys. Like, I use the example of Vientos. When Vientos didn't hustle, they made it a thing. They spoke to Vientos. Vientos doesn't make anywhere near the money of Juan Soto. He's nowhere near the player or as big as Juan Soto is. So, yeah, I definitely think it's compounded. This offense is non-existent, and this team doesn't have the life that they should have. But you can't even be mad at the pitching either. The pitching is doing enough. 2 solo shots shouldn't beat you. 2 solo shots shouldn't beat you. 3 runs in the first 2 innings yesterday shouldn't beat you. I don't know. They got to shake up the lineup and do more. They have the talent. And they're healthy for the most part. Or are these guys already nursing some kind of injuries in mid-May?
He got a hit and he got a walk. That was the most of the Met lineup. It was one of those times with Jeff McNeil. He walked twice. But that doesn't matter because Juan Soto makes the most money. And whoever makes the most money is always going to be blamed. Just like, and this is not a needle. When the Yankees fail in the postseason, the number 1 target is Aaron Judge. Why? Because he makes the most money and he's the biggest player on the team.
Even with Stanton, even with Cole, when that Red Sox wild card game, we pay this guy this much money for that performance. He's not an ace. This guy sucks. Giancarlo Stanton. What's the point of bringing it? Because it's like, hey, that price tag on you, you're supposed to shine in those moments. You're supposed to come up in those moments. Extra base hits. Where are the extra base hits? Where are the homers? That's why I said, where is the power? 888-808-1019. This show is going to fly by. When we come back, I'll say good morning on the other side. And it's going to be a good morning for New Yorkers. It's going to be a good morning for New York fans because you get to watch your team play in the Eastern Conference Finals tomorrow night. We're 6 minutes away from Wednesday, game 1. Now, I did mention before that there's a watch party, and I clipped the information. So quickly here before we go to break. And also 888-808-1019 if you'd like to start talking Knicks. I do have calls on Juan Soto on the Mets and the Yankees. But tomorrow, 7 p.m., Radio City Music Hall, Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1 watch party because it's going to rain and they're not doing the party outside. It's $10. And if you want to be in the ambiance, in the energy of fellow Knicks fans, New Yorkers watching the game, it also benefits the Garden of Dreams Foundation. So Radio City Music Hall, 7 p.m. Game starts at 8, $10 to enter the Knicks watch party. Keith McPherson on the Fan. I'll say good morning on the other side. Don't go anywhere because we're coming right back. Oh, my back. All right, let's see. I might have to send some audio. I'm going to send some audio right now. You guys will hear this audio on the show. We're switching producers right now. Ugh. Ate too much at the suite. Too much assorted things. That'll get you. Sushi, pasta, chicken fingers, fries, freaking nachos, empanadas, Pepsi. All right, so let me set up this email and hit Nico, who's coming in to produce. Bleeks is on vacation, or he's been doing the morning show? Okay. When is isn't Eddie retiring or stepping out? Okay, I thought it was soon. So okay. Okay. Audio. Nico. What's Nico's last name? Corsaro? I don't see it auto-populating. So is his first name not Nico in the system? It might be. Nico, what's your email? What's your Odyssey email? Okay, so Peter, what's your last name? Okay, he just said that. It's still not coming up. So Peter.Scarlato.
Yeah. STA.
Okay, right here.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I'm just gonna send you some audio for the Knicks conversation.
Okay, cool. Sorry, yeah, it's confusing. I go by Nico. My first name is Peter.
It's all good. I go by a bunch of names. Did I ever send you my beat pack? Did I ever send you my my Google Drive with my instrumentals?
I don't think so, but I'm sure Rosie has it. Like it was just.
Yeah, and I'll add you to it right now.
All right, cool.
All right. Where are my beats, bro? Okay, rejoin instrumentals. Because I need my beats. I need my beats to set the vibe and the tone in here. Let me add the boy Nico, aka Peter. Send. And let me cue up this audio. All right, Knicks audio. Andrew Nemhard. I think Andrew Nemhard is the player to watch in this series. I mean, there are a few players to watch in the series, but for the Pacers, I just think like his game, he can shoot, he can dribble the ball. Let's see. Halliburton talking about last year. I think. Stephen A. talking about Jalen Brunson. Reggie Miller.
Good morning at 12 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti, and this report is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz at Morristown. Another 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They left 7 men on, mustered just 4 hits as the Red Sox silenced the Mets 2-0. Clay Holmes has given up just 2 runs over 6. A pair of solo shots meant to drop 5 of 6. Have scored just 10 runs in the last 7 games combined. Aaron Judge, Ben Rice each went deep, drove in a pair. Yankees finished off the Rangers 5-2. Will Warren was terrific. Then 10 over 5 2/3 scoreless. Bombers won 9 of 12, a season best 9 games over 500. Knicks and Pacers game 1 tonight. Knicks trying for their first title in 52 years, but Karl-Anthony Towns not about to lose focus on the task at hand. And the Thunder outscored the T-Wolves by 30 in the second half, rolled to a 114-88 victory in Game 1 behind 31 from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 58 degrees, cloudy skies at Central Park, and that's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
Good morning, good morning. Wednesday, May 21st. We're out of the Taurus season. I think it's Gemini season now. And pretty soon it's Memorial Day weekend. And it's summertime. The Knicks are still playing this late into May. And as you just heard, some 52 years. It's historic, man. It's historic. But I'll say this about the Knicks as we do open up that conversation, because today is the day. They're going to be hated on the whole way. They're going to be picked against. I'll give you my pick before I get out of here tonight. I'm not picking against the Knicks. I just think that's foolish. It doesn't help anything. I don't get any points for it. I'm not going to bet on it. I'll tell you right now. It was Knicks in 6 the first round. It was Knicks in 6 the second round. I think it can be Knicks in 6 in this third round. Don't need it in 7. Beat them in 6. I think if you let it come to a game 7, anything can happen in a game 7. And sure, home court, yeah, whatever, but beat them in 6. Go back to the Midwest like you did in Detroit and beat them on their home floor. The Knicks are good on the road. Go to Gainbridge Fieldhouse and beat those corn farmers. The Knicks need that. They need that negative energy. They feed off of the doubt, right? They have guys with chips on their shoulders. They have guys that have been underestimated. They have guys that have been picked against and hated on, and they need to go feel that negative energy, right? Maybe they need to see Tyrese Halliburton's dad. Maybe Karl-Anthony Towns' dad could square up with him. I don't know if Tyrese Halliburton's dad is welcome or allowed after the whole thing with Giannis. But, you know, Rick Carlisle and the Pacers are going to be prepared. They've had a whole calendar week off. I think 8 days. Like, they played Tuesday, last Tuesday. So they had Wednesday to Wednesday. Like, they have had a lot of time off. And I don't think that's good for them. I think you can go cold. I don't think that's good for, especially in basketball. You can only practice with a certain level of intensity, especially in the playoffs. It's not the regular season. And for the Knicks to get right back out there on the floor where they were Friday and try to just turn that energy back up in the Garden that they felt Friday and the fans to bring it. I think that the Knicks take this first game and they're road warriors. So take that first game. And then when you go on the road, you know, take those games from the Pacers. But I want to see how they match up. Obviously, the talk is about the depth, but I just look at the talent that the Knicks have on the floor. They have better players. I look at the talent that the Knicks have. It's Brunson versus Halliburton. Give me Brunson. And I know they have a relationship. They played on Team USA together. They did the WWE stunt together. Supposedly they have like a group chat from being on, you know, that Team USA. I think Bridges was on that team and Josh Hart too. So they have a relationship, but like the relationship or not, this is to go to the finals. This is a rematch. There's revenge. There's got to be. And even if there's not revenge, there's history. Reggie Miller looks like a long ant. He looks like an earthworm Jim or something. Reggie Miller is mad annoying. Like, aren't you tired of Reggie Miller? I know I am. He thinks he's like this boogeyman. We'll play this audio that I found of him on Twitter where he's in New York and he's just like waiting for someone to notice him. Like, haven't you been famous for enough decades? Aren't you over that? Aren't you over that? Like, oh, when I come to New York, I live rent-free in these New Yorkers' minds. Wait till someone notices me. Like, I hope that the Knicks shut him up. I hope that the Knicks humble them. I don't like anything about the Pacers. I've already done this rant, but I respect them. They have players from Pascal Siakam, Spicy P versus OG. That's a matchup. Former Toronto teammates. Miles Turner versus Cat. Both of those guys can get it in the paint and they can step out and hit the three. Like that, I'm not sleeping on the Pacers, and most people are going to pick them. And I was looking at ESPN today. I think Alan Hahn was speaking, and they said the Pacers are 52% favorites, but the Knicks beat them in the regular season. And all the talk in the regular season was how the Knicks can't beat elite teams. But this is not an elite team, right? This is a team that they're a higher seed than that they were 2-1 against. And Karl-Anthony Towns had good games. Like, I really think, man, I was listening to Karl-Anthony Towns talk about how he's a diehard Yankee fan. And, he grew up in Jersey. And, going to Yankee Stadium and getting that ovation, it's special, makes him want to work harder. Well, here you go, Carl. Here you go. Ball out in the Eastern Conference Finals. Let this series be about you. Let this series be about the Knicks bringing you here, 888-808-1019. The Pacers, they have a few guys and even like role player guys that you might not think about. Obviously, I mentioned Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner, but Andrew Nembhard, I think, is a player to watch in this series. Andrew Nembhard is a guy that can get his shot off. He can shoot three. He can shoot mid-range. If he gets going and they keep feeding him and you're not mindful of him and you're not watching him, like, they have a lot of guys that can kill you. They got a lot of guys that can run it up. Before you know it, they're on a run. They move the ball. I said it 10 times this week. Their name fits their style of play. The Pacers, they play with pace. TJ McConnell, you guys know from last year, he's a pest. He's mad annoying. He was annoying when he was in Philly. Him coming off the bench, he'll give you buckets straight up. He could, not like Peyton Pritchard, but Peyton Pritchard was 6th man of the year. They're different style players, but like how Peyton Pritchard could get going, this guy can get going too. And not shooting the three like Peyton Pritchard, but like he'll get points in the paint. If you're not paying attention, his little ass will be right around you. Obi Toppin. Don't sleep on Obi. You know Obi well. You drafted him. And Obi is not just a dunker. He could shoot. Some games he doesn't have much, but he's got length, so he's a potential issue out there. They have a few guys. They have a few guys. We'll talk all through it. Let's get back to the phones. Good morning. Good morning. It is Wednesday, May 21st. The Pacers will play the Knicks in the Garden in the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals. It doesn't even sound like a real sentence, but it is our reality. This Knicks team has done it. In their championship window, in this first year with this team, they were able to build their chemistry, build their toughness, and build their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. And you can't tell me that they can't beat the Pacers to go on to the finals and put that finals logo on the floor in Madison Square Garden. That'd be nuts, right? That'd be crazy. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Reggie in White Plains. What's up, Reggie? You're on the Fan.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I don't see the Pacers, as crazy as it is to say about what the Celtics did, because they were the defending champs, but they did some weird things down the stretch in a lot of those games. I don't see the Pacers falling into some of those gaps and becoming the chuckers during this series.
No, sir. Rick Carlisle will not allow them to just shoot threes with the lead. Rick Carlisle will call timeout, and he'll wear them out and tell them, yo, get to the paint, do this. Like, he's going to coach them up. Yeah, you're right.
Way back when, that couple of days when Soto signing was really escalating, whether it was Boris or, anyone else in his camp, do you think anyone really sat Juan down for a second and said, Juan, 15 years, you choose the Mets. Like, there's a lot of crazy fans around here. Are you sure you want to live in this city for 15 years, if you flip-flop like this? Because it's going to be crazy. Do you think Boris probably didn't, because he's the devil, but did he have anyone in his ear being like, this is you're gonna be hated by all these crazy fans?
Nope. No, I've been on record. I said it on Foul Territory. I might have said it on here. I said this guy at 25, turning 26, 1 year in New York, and then he somehow changed his number and didn't talk to any of his former Yankee teammates, and he didn't talk to anybody in the Yankee organization. I don't think he understood the weight of his decision as far as you are going to stay in town and become public enemy number one for the Yankee fan base, who is always looking for a guy. You're the new Altuve. They were chanting F. Juan Soto in there tonight. I'm like, Altuve has been replaced by Juan Soto. Who would have thought? And like, I don't think he thought it would be a big deal. I think he always thought, I'm going to the highest bidder. And also, he probably thought, hey, they love me. Like, I just took them to the World Series. They're going to show me love. They understand I'm going to the highest bidder. If the Yankees are the highest bidder, I'll go to them. I don't think he knew. And I could see it in his face. I was there Friday. I was there Saturday. And I'm like, damn, what a harsh reality for this guy who used to come out and the whole right side of the stadium would stand up and they had flags in his jersey and they'd applaud and they whoop it up from. And now you come out and those people are like, F you suck, boo. Like, it's just a crazy flip-flop. I don't think there's any way he could have imagined it. Even I just don't think he knew. I think he always was going to the highest bidder, and he didn't have anybody in his camp that was going to tell him, like, yo, you make this move to stay in town and go to the Mets, like, it is going to be a huge thing. And it's going to be hard for you to potentially deal with that. Like, you got to live amongst these people. Like, I don't know where he lives in the area, but like, I don't know how he lives. I don't know how I don't think he's got to, they have security for him. He's probably got to ride in black cars. He can't go do regular things because like these Yankee fans, I know it, are insane.
No doubt, man. It's crazy to think about that. I mean, Boris probably, did him a disservice by that, but I mean, the fact that he didn't understand, like, I mean, I'm guilty. I'm one of those fans. If I saw him in the street, just walking his dog or going out for, a stroll to a restaurant or something, I'd yell something at him.
But like, Yankee fans did that to their own players. Joey Gallo couldn't walk around Manhattan without getting heckled by Yankee fans. Like, it's it's crazy, but like, somebody had to tell him, and I don't think anybody told him. I don't think anybody. I think the Supreme Court of Soto, which is what Scott Boras referred to his family as during his press conference, they wanted to know what was in it for them because they raised this kid, they took care of him, and they wanted now to get their payday as well. And there was much more offered from the Mets than the Yankees. It's tough. They don't go out to right field with you. They don't step in the batter's box with you.
No doubt. Buckle up, Juan. It's going to be a long time. But I mean, he could have a great October and win him a World Series, and he'll still get the hate. But it's just crazy to think about. And I hope that the Yankees hold it down this year and get the World Series, just so I can talk all that smack to my Met fan friend.
Hey, they're looking good right now. They're surprising me right now because I've been on record saying I don't think they're a World Series team. But I'm like, man, they're one like starter and right-handed bat away from being like, yo, there's no holes in this lineup, defense, rotation, or bullpen. And the American League is whack as hell. There's nobody that scares me in the American League. The Tigers run it. I'll see them. The Mariners, we just saw them. Like, who in the American League is supposed to rise up and be better than Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees? I don't see anybody. Thanks for the call. Your topic was also Knicks. Thought we were going to go to the Knicks, but Juan Soto is going to dominate the day. Let me get a Knicks call, and then we'll go to the other Juan Soto calls. Charlie in Homedale. What's up, man? You're on the fan.
Hey, man, it's Charlie from Homedale, CBA guy. First of all, we got great news today. My dad, clean bill of health, cancer-free. I mean, best birthday gift a guy could get.
God bless. Congrats.
I'm like such a relief. And it's fantastic. I love listening to you. You have such great, and you're right. Like Reggie Miller, he always has an attitude. I lived in Charlotte, and I was a pretty big wig down there for Bank of America. And when he came down to do games, I mean, I used to hang out with some of my friends at the Andy Lounge, and he'd roll in with two pros, and it was like, really? He was just so you go over and say, well, hey, I'm a Knicks fan. No, he was just smug. You hit the nail right on the head with him.
Yeah, he's not Jordan. Like, I don't know why he acts like he won a he's not Jordan, he's not Kobe, he's not LeBron. Like Reggie, he carries himself like he is this like basketball god walking around. And I'm like, you were a good shooter, but like Steph easily passed you and others passed you. Like you're not him, bro. And that was a long time ago. These right, you're not Shaq. Yeah, like, and these kids don't know you, bro. These kids, they did not see you play.
You have a funky shot anyway. Nobody's. I think
Can you bring him back?
it was just weird how. And I remember when he like just beat us in that playoff game. I was on my 8th grade trip to Washington. I just had to get him off. I was like, it's over. And then I find out later.
And that's his claim to fame. It's not like he's a champ and a multiple time champ.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just enjoyed the fact that the Yankees are doing great, the Knicks are doing great, because I'm having these great moments with my dad that I haven't had the luxury of doing. And I just don't want it to stop. Like, he keeps asking me, hey, when's the next Knicks game? I'm like, what? Did they play Friday? I'm like, why so? I'm like, well, hey, Dad, call Silverman's ask him what the schedule is. So late on Wednesday.
Yeah. Nah. Well, I mean, could, but also they just need time to get things together in both cities. And thanks for the call, Charlie. God bless you and your father. And that does bring up a great point about generations. Your dad being some 30, 40 years older than you, remembering the 90s. Reggie Miller's going to take a picture with Spike Lee, and there are kids that are not going to understand that. And, people are going to be talking about Rick Schmitz and, even 2000, like it was a different era. But, this brings us together in a different kind of way. This brings fathers and sons together. Like there are a ton of videos on TikTok of fathers and sons celebrating the Knicks winning. There are dads that made their sons Knicks fans, and they've been waiting all these years. Boom, now you're in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I was hearing a lot of talk about like there being fake Knicks fans and the Knicks fans are celebrating too much, and people got to shut up, mind your business, let people enjoy things, man. That's the type of time I'm on. That's why I'm not hating. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm not hating. I'm not ever going to hate when I see people overjoyed and happy to the point where like they can't control themselves over a sport. I'm not going to hate on people who are having core memories in their living room with their pops, like after struggling, stay down till you come up, after putting in pain, after struggling watching the team for years. Now you get to watch your team in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like that is fun, man. So enjoy it. 888-808-1019. Up north, Montreal, Tony's back on the fan. What's up, Tony?
How you doing, Keith?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you taking the call. Listen, we talked about the gluttony of a $760-odd million contract, and you called it the contract that handcuffs Soto. You mentioned so rather than Soto, and I said back when the Yankees were in the mix to sign him, I said, let him go. We don't really need him. We have Judge, and really you have the twin towers on the Yankees. You got Soto and you got Judge. I'm sorry. Any team that has those two players is a dominant force. And I watched that game on Saturday. It's the only game I could see with the Yankees. And I watched Soto swinging out of the bottom of his cleats and then falling towards the Yankee catcher and sort of balancing him off and holding himself up by hanging on to the catcher. And I said, wow, what a Pee-wee play. Like, what do you think he cares that you fall on your rear end? In fact, I thought, it's really the first time I've ever seen him play, and his stature is nothing compared to Stanton and Judge. Judge and Stanton are monsters on the field, and I don't think this guy Soto is anywhere of the same quality. You guys think he's one of the best players in baseball? I don't think he's in the same class as Ohtani or Judge or Stanton. I would never pay him any of that money. He's not even, I don't think he's as good as even Guerrero in that, but that's my opinion. Everyone has a different opinion. But he's not producing because he can't handle it. And I actually really think he's a guy that doesn't understand New York. Like, if you're on the New York Rangers and you're a star and you're Rod Gilbert and you go play for the Islanders or you go play for, the Devils, you're going to get some hate, and it's going to be big time hate. But you're on the greatest baseball team ever, and you leave and you go across town, and you don't think people are going to hate on you. And like that other caller said, Scott Boros, his hands are so much in the green, he doesn't even explain to this guy. And this guy, I don't want to be too critical, but I don't think Soto's that smart. Are you telling me that you don't understand the rabid nature of Yankee fans? You got Yankee fans in Montreal that don't like you for what you did. You turned your back on the team. So why wouldn't he not understand that? I just don't get it, Keith.
Understand. Thanks for the call, Tony. I'm kind of off, killing Juan Soto. You say you're not going to be too critical. You criticize his game and his intelligence. And I just feel like it is open season on this guy. And you know what? He is going to have his revenge. He is going to grab the pen and change the story. And he's going to have his time where, I don't know. I can't say that. Like, I watched him last year as a Yankee fan. And you know what? Do I get some satisfaction as a Yankee fan to be like, the Mets didn't get the version that the Yankees got? Yeah, of course. I do think he's one of the best players in baseball. I've been to the All-Star game a bunch of times where he was there, and his counterparts think that too. They respect him too. And you know what it is? He is a champion. And the performance that he put on young, what is he, 19, 20 years old? That performance that he put on young in the World Series, that's how you get respect by your peers. And I've seen him do it in the postseason. I've seen him do it with the Yankees. So, look at Judge. Now, you talk about the stature of a Judge, and we're like, Judge continuously gets roasted for dropping that pop-up, for striking out and coming up small in the big moments. There are Mets fans that were even able to say he did nothing in the Subway Series. He went over 5, 3 strikeouts against Griffin Canning Saturday and all that. It's like, yeah, well, what can I say? With Juan Soto, he's in a bad one right now. He's not shuffling right now. He's not smiling right now. He's not looking like the player we've seen right now. And I think that has started to infect the team. I think it started to bother the team. In the beginning of the season, it was like, it's early. We're waiting for Juan Soto. And the way he was being pitched was helping Lindor, helping Alonso. Now they're slumping a little bit. And the rest of these guys, it's just tough. So as far as giving him the money, you had to give him the money because of the age that he hit free agency and the resume that he had, and the fact that he was playing with the Yankees, right? The Yankees traded for him to try to entice him into being a Yankee and wanting to be a Yankee. Like what you're saying about him not being smart, you don't know that the Yankees are the best team. There are people that disagree. Like I said, I've gone to a lot of All-Star games and I've been around a lot of other fans. I've been to 16 MLB ballparks. There are people that hate the New York Yankees and hate Yankee fans. They don't agree. They don't think that the Yankees are better. They look at the Yankees being better as a thing of the past. The Yankees don't win the World Series. I just had somebody in my mention talking about, the Angels have the same amount of World Series as the Yankees in X amount of years or whatever. Okay. Juan Soto was not looking at the Yankees as this is the mecca of baseball. There's no greater place for me to be. Juan Soto was looking at them like, you traded for me. I'm hitting in front of Judge. I'm helping carry this team. We're balling out. There were even times last year where Juan Soto was like, you need more than 2 hitters, right? Like this team, and he knew because he was on a team with Trey Turner and Anthony Rendon and Zimmerman and a bunch of other guys in DC. But ultimately, what I have to say about the Mets, and we'll take some Mets calls too, is it's got to shift away from Soto. And I think part of shifting away from Soto is saying, yeah, we know you want to bat second. Well, you're going to bat third. That's just one little thing, one little tweak. You've given him the world. You have to give him the number 2 spot in the lineup. Maybe put Nimmo there. Nimmo used to be your leadoff hitter. Maybe put Nimmo there. Maybe Nimmo can work a walk. I know he needs to work some more walks and get on. I feel like we never see the patented Nimmo sprint anymore to first base. But something needs to shake up with the Mets offense. I feel like their offense is struggling because there's so much pressure on Juan Soto being this guy. And now that Pete and Lindor aren't, Pete isn't coming through clutch like he was in the beginning of the year. Lindor is not hitting home runs and walking it off and stuff like that. Like, it's starting to infect the rest of the team. And I think they need a shakeup. And I think they need it now before they come home. And they could have a great homestand. They beat the Dodgers. You got the White Sox. You got the Rockies. Like, this could kind of set things right. And if Juan Soto is Juan Soto, which he still is, you will see him smile. You will see him shuffle. You will see his confidence. And again, I don't think it's about the money. I don't think it's about the Mets. I don't think it's about the jerseys. I don't think it's about the club. I bet everything that the Mets do is first class. I don't think it's about the Yankees either. He was with the Yankees for a year. So, like, yeah, he got, really, like, I don't know, 8-9 months of, like, what it was like to be a Yankee. But I don't think that the Mets, as far as their operations and the way they do things, I don't think they're second class to the Yankees. They're the richest owner in the sport. And he's changed so much in these last 5 years. I bet everything that was available to Juan is available to him as a Met. The reason Juan Soto is looking like this is because he's not playing like he's used to playing. And they need to coach him up, and they need to change some things in the lineup. He needs to do some work in the batting cage, whatever, so that he can get back to performing like Juan Soto. And then you'll see the shuffle. Then you'll see the smile. And then when they're winning cures all, and that'll help the team chemistry, and that'll help the morale, and other guys will come up big in other spots as well. Ross is in Bergen County on the Fan. What's up, Ross?
Keith, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I think we see game by game with this team. I think we're seeing a closer resemblance to 2022 than we might want to acknowledge. And I think you were actually first on it, but I think overall, as the weeks have gone by, you really don't have to be Nostradamus to think that the Braves should come back onto the team. I'm honestly more worried than the Phillies. Getting with the Phillies bullpen was already shaky in its own right, and then you had the thing with Alvarado. But the Braves team, you can never count them out. Now you parlay that with the fact that the Mets, their hitting is as anemic as ever. I don't know how Eric Chavez still has his job. I think it's beyond Soto. I think so. Like I was telling you yesterday, I think Soto's more the other. I think he's unhappy here to start. I'm not saying he's going to be here unhappy every a year of the 15-year deal, but I don't think there's any doubting the lack of morale since he's gotten here. But I mean, just overall, the names you go through, there's not a single guy in this lineup, and that's including Alonso. How nice his stats look right now. That's off the start of the year yet. He's back to being like 5 footers last 30 something, whatever it is. It's terrible. Lindor's not clutch anymore. And everybody else is underperforming. The baby Mets, when they still haven't jumped out onto the scene, it looked like Vientos finally emerged. He's back down to level one step forward, 2 steps back. I mean, baby is probably the only redeeming one right now. And you can't take anything with him. You got to take everything with him with a grain of salt. I mean, it's just, you look 1 through 9. They're one of the worst situational hitting teams in the league. That's nothing new. I mean, we've seen that every year since Chavez has been here. I don't know at what point, I don't know what Cohen and MSD to keep us still in that dugout, and I don't know if anything's going to change until they let us go.
Yeah, I feel like they are so steady and so even keeled and measured that, like, this panic right now, they're not gonna change the lineup. They're not gonna give in to anything. It's too early for them to make a move. They also don't want to show like, hey, yeah, the noise is getting to us. It's loud right now. Everybody's paying attention to Juan Soto. Like, I think it's time to do it. I think this is a spot to do it. Like, if you get swept with the same lineup and Garrett Crochet shoves against you, and then you come home and then you go into the Dodgers series with morale down, and like I said, it's a holiday weekend, and if there's no juice, if the fans aren't fired up, like the Met fan has been fired up for the Mets to come to Citi Field because they win at Citi Field. The Dodgers need to get right now. The Dodgers are they're 4-6 in their last 10. They just lost 4 in a row. Like, the Dodgers are reeling in, and it's a collision course between the Mets and the Dodgers. Like, who figures it out this Memorial Day weekend?
They got injuries at least. So you look at tonight, for crying out loud, they lose the manager for the second night in a row, and at the same time, I can't remember the last time I saw a starter get ejected in the 3rd inning because he dropped an F-bomb, which was completely justified. You saw the clip of the strike, completely justified, and he gets ejected. The manager's gone for the second night in a row, and now I got to see this clip of, like, the whole, like, you talk about with us with OMG Griffin and everything. Apparently, we unlocked their rally cry this year. They got like the bullpen phone or something. So now we're the ones spreading the rally cries all over the league. And just overall, I mean, look, you're talking about the Dodgers going to have a slump. I mean, between us And I kind of brought up, I mean, maybe the recipe is to start the year on 5 every year because it worked for us last year. It's working for Atlanta this year. And the last time we started the year off, like I see now on Twitter, I saw that sleeper Mets account. When we were 15 games into the year, we was tweeting "Good morning, Mets fans," after first in the NL East. And now when we finally got beat by Philly, I see him yesterday report, "It only meant." I mean, you can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? So these early starts, now it's the second time in 4 years we go through and it's.
Ooh. As I'm talking to you, Moreno's been balling. Gabriel Moreno just tied it up against the Dodgers. And
Man, and they got it for nothing. They got it for Barsha.
in the 9th inning, he just homered to tie it up 1-1. So the Dodgers losing streak could continue. They were 2 outs away from getting a win. You'd love to see the Diamondbacks beat them here. Now they're probably going to force extras at the least. Maybe they can beat them in 9 innings, and then the Dodgers are licking their wounds, and they're going to be hurting coming into New York. They got to fly across the country, reeling, trying to get right. And you're right, they have injuries, I believe, in their pitching staff, but they still have their MVPs. They have Ohtani, Betts, Freeman in the top of their lineup. They have they have Kike. They have guys from their Muncy, and I know Muncy's had a little bit of a down year, but they still have their World Series hitters.
How about this though? As Danny talked about Chavez, me and you just went through the lineup. You gotta give the pitcher credit, obviously. Clay Holmes, I know he gave it to, which by the way, it's ridiculous. Vientos clips the top of the wall, same with Pete, and their 2 pop flies go out. Fenway, I know you're kind of with the same rhetoric. I can't.
I'm gonna break here.
Give Fenway credit for just like the nostalgic feel of the field, the place, the total dump. I don't know how it's still allowed in Monterey. If old Yankee could go, old Fenway could go too. It's a joke. But regardless, Tanner Scott was a name rumored all year. He just gave up that homer. So you got to give Stearns credit for not kind of bending the knee with the pitchers. You see Clay, what he turned into with a starter, kind of same road as Michael King and them. Obviously, Griffin Canning's like one of the few Mets that hasn't pissed anyone off all year. Some of the really Brad Advance finally showing what they traded for last year. He's probably been their most reliable arm stuff. The pitching side of things has been good, but the hitting, man. We shouldn't have to on a night-to-night basis count 0 for 6, 0 for 7, 0 for 8 with guys on base. 0 for 4, 0 for 5 with guys and runners, in scoring position. It feels like every night they're I saw the stat tonight. They got like 8 runs in their last 6 games. None of them are homers. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You talk about Mickey Mouse and have
2 ballparks where you could steal one. You could get some cheapies.
both teams play with the same walls. Everybody's talking, there's as many Mickey Mouse homers as DJ had and the grand slam from Cody from Bellinger. We had the same ballpark because we didn't hit 1 out all 3 games. So I don't know, man.
Maybe 6:45. Maybe later in this 3rd game. Thanks for the call, Ross. Maybe the Mets get right against Garrett Crochet. Maybe they change the lineup. I don't expect them to change the top of the lineup. Maybe the bottom of the lineup. 888-808-1019. We're going to break here. When we come back, we'll play some Knicks audio because I do have Knicks calls coming in. Again, it is Wednesday. It is the 21st. The Knicks will play in the 2025 Eastern Conference Finals. This is Keith McPherson on the Fan until 2 a.m. KM to AM returns right after this. Yeah, I don't know how long that pitching will hold. I'm going back an hour in the chat. It's about to be 12:35. This was at 11:35. I'm just playing a little catch up here. I'm a diehard Yankee fan. Lindor had a subpar first season with the Mets. Soto will bounce back. Yeah, a lot of people have been pointing to that, but I don't know. They're different players, different circumstances. Lindor wasn't coming over from the Mets or from the Yankees. He was coming over from Cleveland, Ohio. The slow start from Soto reminds me of the Lindor bias thumbs down situation. Yeah, it's not even growing pains. It's just adjustments. It's hard to do anything here in New York, yo. It's adjusting to the audience. Tough crowd, yo. Tough crowd. Imagine being a stand-up comedian It's hard to be a stand-up comedian in New York. It's not the same as being a stand-up comedian in Missouri, Kansas City. Hell, radio host. I was talking to someone the other day. They were like, "You guys should be paid more. You guys should be paid closer to the athletes. You deal with the same fans and criticism." I'm like, "Yeah." And I mean, New York is the hardest place to be a radio host because you have the most teams. There's 2 professional teams in MLB. There's 2 professional teams in the NHL. There's 2 professional teams in the NBA. There's 3 professional teams in the NHL. There's a WNBA team. There's St. John's. There's, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to know about all of these teams, and then you got to deal with all the fans of those teams and the criticism of all those fans. And then you're obviously a fan of some type of team. So yeah, it's tough. It's an adjustment. Soto has to adjust faster. He's getting paid too much money to not be able to adjust faster. And that's another thing. Oh, the rethinking and wanting to go back to the Yankees, it's done. It's done. Chat is popping. How we feeling? I don't know. How you guys feeling this morning? I'm all right. I got energy. Get us to 2. Yamamoto had a no-hitter through 6. All right, let me look back at that box score. I was just checking out the live. Now the Dodgers have a chance to walk them off. Will Smith, Max Muncy, and Pajes due up next. But yeah, now I'm looking. Yamamoto, 7 innings, 1 hit, 9 Ks. I knew Yamamoto was going to be nice. I was rooting for him to get rocked, but I knew he was going to be nice. Let me see something here. I want to play this Reggie Miller clip. Yo, maybe we play the Reggie Miller clip I sent you. Let me listen to it and make sure there's no curse words. You won't for the first 40 seconds because yeah. So when we come back, I'll cue it up. And be like, all right, this is Reggie Miller. Shout out to New York Basketball at NBA New York on Twitter. They clipped Reggie Miller's Instagram live. He was in New York, posted up, waiting for people to talk to him like a loser. Yeah, I'll tell you when to cut it. Like, because you start to hear sirens in the background, it's not going to sound good. Probably around 40, 45 at the latest we'll get to. Cool. Word. People are trying to say, oh, Soto and the Mets sold the stadium out. I'm like, the Subway Series was always packed before Soto, and Yankee Stadium is Yankee Stadium. There was over 40,000 people there tonight for a Tuesday game against the Texas Rangers. That's coming. That's coming. They already have booed him, so that's coming again. They miss Iglesias and his OMG stuff. No, that's what I'm saying. He was boo-proof last year, and he never even gave us a stretch of like bad performance to be annoyed or boo him. Begging for the shuffle is pathetic. It's like maybe he just doesn't want to do it anymore. Maybe he retired it. I was at the Yankee game. I did not get to watch the Western Conference Finals. I'm pretty sure the Thunder won. Yeah. Easily from the score. I think when I walked in here, it was 75-65, and the Thunder had just went on a 10-0 run. Yep, that's another thing. When you're making $800 million, nobody feels sorry for you. Yeah, they got to bring Hawk Tua girl back for this homestand. She's always available. Actually, she made so much money now she can just be low and disappear. Nobody cares about the stupid shuffle and the guys. Yeah, but they do because like they want to see the shuffle to feel like he's back. No, she's not getting locked up. Oh, yeah. This is Max Freed's warm-up music. Oh, Gangstar on the fan. Keith McPherson on the fan. 888-808-1019. Man, let's play this goofy Reggie Miller posted up in New York City. He looks like he's like on a bike. Shout out to New York basketball at NBA_New York on Twitter. They kind of aggregate a lot of different things going on with the Knicks. And I saw this and I'm like, who does this? Right? Like, what famous person camps out anywhere? Like, I'm not a famous person, but people do recognize me and know who I am. I would never do this. I would literally never stand in one spot and hope that somebody like recognizes me. When people recognize me, I try to keep it low. Honestly, I try and keep a low profile. I say what's up. I talk to everybody. But Reggie Miller, you are famous. Like, and you've been. That's why I said, haven't you been famous for enough decades? You still need to do this. So here's Reggie Miller on his Instagram live somewhere downtown in New York, just like with sunglasses on, people, walking by, minding their business. And, he's just hoping that, people notice the 6'7" worm hanging out so that he can, get somebody to give him credit for being the New York Knicks boogeyman.
I live rent free in a lot of New York, okay? So yes, we're still mad. But as you see, people are just casually running by. I'm gonna say anything. We'll see. First one. How you doing, my friend? Thank you, sir. First one. Thank you, sir. Good career. Hey, that's one. That's one. I am.
Oh, you can bring him down. Yeah, so you get the gist of it. Another person comes up, but then the sirens that we all hear in New York all day, every day start coming in. So I didn't want to play that. 888-808-1019. Josh is in Passaic on the fan in New York. What's up, Josh? Josh, you're not ready? That's not like Josh. Josh, what's up, bro? You sleep? Oh, there he is.
No, okay, sorry about that. What's doing?
Yeah. What are you in Florida? You enjoying your summer? Is it really? Yeah, it's summer. Has summer started for you?
No, not yet. And you were on very early last year. I can't do it till we get to the late nights. We got stuff to take care of.
Yeah. West Coast trip. It was nice for me getting on early, going home and going to sleep, but we're back on the 2 a.m. grind, go to sleep at 4 a.m. grind.
Right, like the last time was after I think the next one game 2 or stuff. The time at C-Mac last week, I think it was after, I guess, game 4, game 5, one of the games. He was talking, I think it was after game 5 before game 6 or something. And he kept on talking about how the Knicks have to do this part better, this guy is just scoring up for me. Sure, I'm just super better for this guy. And I told them, like, if you really want to look at the games, like maybe take away a few minutes of game 4. I told them it's the Knicks. It's all what Boston does. Either they shoot well, they play well, they're gonna win, and they play poorly, the Knicks are gonna win. And that pretty much was the case. And now the Knicks have a real series where team more evenly matched with them. And honestly, most of us will say the Knicks are better. They especially from last year. And the only thing I think they need to win the series is just 2 words: stay healthy. There's no reason why they should lose.
I think there's a reason why they could or should lose, because the Pacers have a deeper team and they were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. But also the Pacers now have a real series. They faced a hobbled Cavaliers team. They faced a Cavaliers team with 4 different starters that had some form of injury or ailment. So yes, health is key.
Something more than that.
I say Knicks in 6. I'm like, they have done it in back-to-back rounds in 6. They have been road warriors. I expect them to win this first game at home. I think they're tougher than the Pacers. I think that they're, obviously they played more recently than the Pacers. I think this first game is going to be a lot for the Pacers to get up for in the Garden. I think if the Knicks win the first one, they can take it in 6.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll have to win number 12. Anyway, going to the big elephant in the room with Juan Soto. His performance is not my problem. The problem with is nobody likes to be talked to like they're stupid. We're doing public speaking now in one of our classes, and they tell us don't talk to the audience like they're dumb. You see a few months ago, when St. John's, when the coach took out the top player, and he's like, you know why should I have to explain to you? Like, just every word you're gonna say, we're gonna listen to. And it's like frustrating. I'm sure you've had it also as a younger host. People just make you sound like you're dumb. Like we all saw him not hustle. Like, don't come out and tell us that they're going to take every word you say. It's just frustrating when these players just think they're above everybody and everyone else and that we're just low people. No, if you say it doesn't matter what we saw, it's what you say. It's yeah, there you go.
Tony in Montreal just called not too long ago and says he doesn't think Juan Soto is that smart. I don't think that Juan Soto. I literally look at this dude as a robot. I don't think Juan Soto has the capability to lie. I think Juan Soto was not trying to insult everyone's intelligence. I heard Evan going in on it. I think Evan even used my line about, don't pee on my head and tell me it's raining. Like, don't insult my intelligence. We watched. I think what Juan Soto was saying is like, I play hard, I hustle. On that play, though, that wasn't a hustle thing to him. That was him pimping the ball, admiring the ball, and thinking that he got one. He was just mistaken. But it's the same thing when you watch. I don't think he was trying to insult anybody's intelligence. I think he just answered the question defensively and also answered the question like, no, like just like disagreed with the thought that he didn't hustle there. I just think it's going to change. He's going to come around. We're going to move on from this. But this has just been a bad stretch. It's all compounded. Losing makes it worse. Back-to-back games of instances not hustling and people talking about it, whether it's Gary Keith and, the radio broadcast with Howie or Evan Roberts, but I don't think Juan Soto is like, I don't think Juan Soto is trying to tell you that like you didn't see what you saw. I think he, felt like, it was a different type of thing. It wasn't a hustle thing. It was, hey, I thought I got it and I didn't. And that's what he should have said. He should have said, I thought that was going out. I thought it was over the monster.
And the performance-wise, I'm not sure saying when there was he was 170 at points, I think, last year and the year before, like, he was bad. Like, and he's younger than Lindor's been, like, just like in time, yeah, it happens to me at the beginning of his career, and he's not doing, his shuffles and all this stuff. And, like, everyone's saying, like, he got his money now, he's good. It's very stupid. Like, why would you want, it's not like he's, like, Anthony Rendon and, like, playing for, like, a small team like Los Angeles Angels. It's funny enough, why would he want that every time he has to punt anything, everyone's talking about him, how bad he is, and he could go down as the worst kind of sports history if he really didn't care and wanted to. What? He doesn't want it. The only thing you can tell me is that, like, unless like it's not actually him, like he's gonna get better. Like, all everyone has to get it. The real problem I have with the Mets, and I know nobody likes Golden David Stearns, and usually I'm a big fan of him, is that he kind of overrates, like, I guess what he thinks about the hitting line. It's not they brought in eighth after eighth. I don't think he thought the pitch was even going to be this great. And hitting wise, it's not. They haven't really hit well in a long while. Like, they've had consistent stretches, but it's been the pitching that ignited last year when they started pitching 6 innings, 2 runs. And he goes in with that hope that the pitchers will do the same, even though he's getting different guys. And you're seeing this right now. The black hole starting maybe with just like Tyrone Taylor is starting to grow, and we're seeing this game after game after game. Even the game of the season where they're winning games just because they're getting 7 innings shutout pitching from every single pitcher, and they would win 3-2. So a pitcher gives up 2 or 3 runs, or the bullpen gives up 1 run, or even just pitcher go even 1 run in the 10th inning. They can't respond. It's just that's really rough. Now I'm throwing on the rest of the team, and if they're starting to lack to put up on the hitting, you got on the Traper stuff. Of course, that could heat up. But that's where I'm holding. Keep taking my call. Have a great night.
Thanks for the call, Josh. I'll say this. Obviously, the calling card for this Mets team is supposed to be the lineup. The pitching lab has been great. The pitching has been better than expected. This is just baseball being baseball. Everything evens out. There are ups and downs. Like the owner literally said, I guess he felt the pressure to come out and say something to the fan base because the fan base is, pissed off. Rightfully so. You pay for Juan Soto. You're not getting the version of Juan Soto that you got to see in New York for the New York Yankees. You face the New York Yankees. Juan Soto does not do superhero type of things, does not hit 3 home runs, and you're getting mocked and trolled, and, you lose the series to the Yankees, and then you go to Boston and you drop the first 2 and you scored 1 run. Like, it's tough. And that's why Steve Cohen said, welcome to the ups and downs of a baseball season. Steve, you don't got to welcome us, bro. We know. He said, this too shall pass. LGM. Yeah, we know, bro. We know. But, like, do something about it, Change the lineup. Do something about it. Like, call a team meeting. Do something about it to get it change now. Do something so that these guys react now, because it has now been a stretch of like 7 games. End of 9 out at Chavez Ravine, 1-1, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, going to extras. Dodgers with a losing streak on the line, fighting to get back in the win column. 888-808-1019. I expect to see the Knicks get back in the win column. Let's hear from Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks head coach, as I played the audio from Reggie Miller. Like, Reggie Miller, no matter what, I don't know, I guess, tale as old as time now, and until the end of time, Reggie Miller is just going to be a mascot. Reggie Miller is just going to be a thing. Whenever it is Knicks Pacers, his name's going to be brought up, but also it's because he's on the broadcast. Also, it's because he's on social media. He plays into it. Like, I don't know, like, they need these things. Like, when the Yankees faced the Royals in the ALDS, like, how many times did they show George Brett? Where we're like, do we need to see George Brett? Like, these kids didn't even see that. I didn't see it. It's like, we get it. We know. We know the famous the famous moment from that series, and I don't know when it even was. So here's the same thing with Reggie Miller, and head coach Tom Thibodeau gets asked about Reggie Miller. Run that.
Well, I talked to our guys. I mean, it's not seriously in pregame coaching now. You actually have to have conversations. Oh yeah, like Reggie, all those guys. I have great respect for them, for him. What he accomplished in his career. When I was in Boston, we tried to get him to join our team in Boston. It didn't work out. I've always respected that about him. I think he couldn't cross over the hurdle leaving Indiana, which I respect.
Yeah, like, Tom Thibodeau is so locked in. He's so dialed right now. It's like, who? Reggie? Bullock? Oh, Reggie Miller. Like, I talked to our guys. What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, but he's with TNT. Yeah, whatever. Like, and then he had to start talking about, like, oh, respect for Reggie. But he's like, why? Like, why are you asking me questions about Reggie Miller? Ask me about our players. Ask me about their players. Reggie Miller hasn't played for them in years. Let's go down to Florida, talk to Vinny on the Fan in New York. What's up, Vinny?
What's going on, Keith? How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Listen, basically what I wanted to say is I remember, we're basically the same age. I remember watching the Knicks with my dad in '94, and him being upset with you for not dumping the ball instead of finger rolling it. I remember in '99, he was saying, listen, if the Knicks going against the best team in the West, and you had the Twin Towers and Duncan and what's his name? Robinson. I'm sorry. And long story short, bro, I watched him lose, 60 games a season in the 2000s. He always used to bust my chops about it. And God rest his soul, he's been gone 7 years. And I was skeptical looking at the playoff bracket this year. And I was like, you know what? They'll get past Detroit. They're going to play Boston. Yeah, you know what? They're probably not going to make it past Boston. Let me tell you something right now, man. I have so much respect for this team because they grind. And last year against Indiana, they were depleted. They were very injured. And I understand they match up very well. Both teams match up very well when they're full strength. But I say, like you said, man, Knicks and 6, baby. Let's go. That's all I have to say, brother.
Thanks for the call, Vinny. 888-808-1019. Belief is needed now. Now is the time where it's like, yo, didn't they earn your belief? Didn't they earn your respect? Didn't they show you they're tough? Didn't they show you they could fight? Didn't they show you they can answer the bell? So why do you have any cold feet now? Why do you have any reservations now? Now you got to be all in. You might not get back to this moment. You haven't been in this moment for 24 years. You got to be all in on the Knicks to beat the Pacers. And you got to believe that they'll get it done. They need your belief. They need your positive energy. So 888-808-1019. Yeah, and the George Brett Pine Tar game was 1983. It was mad long ago, bro. Like 40 plus years ago. Like, but they had to keep showing George Brett on the screen. All right, dial the number up. Last hour of my show. We'll hit you with some more things. Obviously, some more audio around the Knicks, but there's some other things that happened in football, in the NFL that I want to speak on, and still taking your calls on the Mets, on the Yankees. We haven't really even done that much Yankees talk. I had a caller that wanted to talk about Ben Rice. I'm going to speak on Ben Rice as well when we come back. So still more to do. KM to AM returns right after this. Where's the Ben Rice note that I had? I think Gary Phillips had a note about Ben Rice playing third base. Where is that shit? Okay, I got it with Ben Rice. So Ben Rice, flag football I wanted to hit. And then I wanted to talk about the Knicks as well. Okay. Oh, chat. What's up, chat? See, Black Dog is a well-known song, but a lot don't know the title when they hear it. It's a classic, but I didn't know. I'm like, I guess it was Leonard Skinner. Not that I'm really like into like 70s rock like that. I wouldn't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was a guess. Led Zeppelin, correct. One of the most popular rock songs of all time. They weren't playing that in my house or in my car growing up. Yeah, I remember those old classic songs like Fuji La, Hypnotize, I blanked I was gonna say Black Street, No Diggity, Too Close, Poison, Return of the Mac, Mitch on Turner, Bridges on Hallie, OG on Siakam. Yeah. Now who's on Neesmith? Who's on Nemhard? Cat has to cook. Why'd the Yankees give up that catcher to the Red Sox? Why'd they give up that catcher to the Mets? The Yankees gave up Augustin Ramirez to the Marlins. The Yankees gave away a bunch of catchers. They gave Jose Trevino to the Reds, who's having a good year. And here they are with Austin Wells and JC Escara. And even Kyle Higashioka's with the Texas Rangers. In this last handful of years, the Yankees have moved on from a few catchers. I don't know. I agree. Probably like 75% agree with that. Black Dog is about sex. Oh, that's what I was saying to Paulie. I was like, I don't know what the song is about. All I know is Will Warren warms up to it, and I was rocking to it in the stadium. Like, oh, like this is a cool song for a 25-year-old. I just want to say I'm thoroughly enjoying what is going on with the O's. So am I. Their demise is sensational. Because I was told that there was going to be hell to pay. I was told that the Yankees have to deal with the Orioles, and they changed their ballpark, and they got new ownership, and they were going to be able to pay their young players, and how the Yankees won't run the AL East. And honestly, the Yankees went down to Camden Yards and lost that stupid series to them. And I was like, hopefully this doesn't get them right. No, they're cooked. Knicks should play aggressive. This is revenge. Yes, not just for revenge. They can out-tough them. They should bully them. They should push them around. Like, if they want to put their backups on the floor, smack them around. Is flag football a good sport? Yes, for 5-year-old kids that can't play tackle football yet. You know what? I'm gonna go in on this. Like I might have to tell them to clip this take. I am not with this flag football stuff at all. I'm pretty sure when you go to play organized football, you start with flag and it's like ages 5 to 7. And then I think when you're 8, you can put pads on and it's like 8 and 9-year-olds, then like 10, 11, 12-year-olds play together. And then there's like a 13, 14-year-old league, and then you get into high school. Bro, that's what I said. I also feel like the Knicks are going to win because nobody wants to see Indiana OKC small market NBA finals. The NBA doesn't want it. Last year we had Boston, Dallas. A few years back it was Milwaukee, Phoenix. It's not good for business.
Good morning at 1 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti, and this report is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Morristown. Mets struggles continue. 10 runs in the last 7 games combined. They were blanked by the Red Sox 2-zip. Another 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They left 7 men on. So are the Mets just pressing a little too much? Clay Holmes gave up 2 runs over 6 pair of solo shots. Mets have dropped 5 of 6. The Yankees got 10 Ks for 5 and 2/3 scoreless from Will Warren. Bounced the Rangers 5-2. Aaron Judge, Ben Rice, each went deep, as the Bombers won 9 of 12. Knicks and Pacers, game 1 tonight. Pacers love to run. Mikal Bridges knows the Knicks need to be on their toes to win this series. And the Thunder disposed of the T-Wolves 114-88 to take game 1 as they outscored them 70-40 in the second half. 58 degrees, cloudy skies, Central Park, and that's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
Yeah. Still here. Inside the 1 a.m. hour on the Fan in New York. Keith McPherson, your nighttime host, talking sports. 888-808-1019. There's rain in the forecast. So I expect the Yankees to call the game tomorrow. Well, it's today now. I expect them to call it early, though. It's supposed to rain in the Bronx from 2 p.m. all the way to 2 a.m. And then, Thursday, Friday. Lucky us. Memorial Day weekend. About to get rained out. But, the Knicks prepared for that. That's why they have the Radio City Music Hall watch party, $10 if you want to pull up there. Watch the game there if you can't get into the Garden. And, I just think that the whole city's going to be on the Knicks. I know the Mets will play at 6:45, but that game will be close to ending as the Knicks start to get going. So all focus will be on the Knicks. And, game 1, I think, is pivotal. I think they need to win game 1. I think they need to win on their home floor. I've already talked about how I just think that they will because they played there Friday, and it's been 8 days since the Pacers beat the Cavaliers, and they'll step into that environment on the floor. I also was just in the chat on my live stream, and someone brought up a good point where they said, who wants to see OKC, Indiana in the finals? And I'm like, the NBA does not. The TV networks do not. OKC won tonight. OKC beat Minnesota pretty handedly, pretty solid win. I know it's just the first game, but OKC is the highest seeded team. OKC arguably is the best team in the NBA all year. But when you talk about markets, a few years back, it was Milwaukee versus Phoenix. That's whack as hell. Last year, obviously, we had, Boston, big market, and a historic franchise versus Dallas. I think it's just the writing is on the wall. It might be written in the stars for it to be New York versus Oklahoma City. I think New York versus Minnesota would be better for storylines, but there's obviously a storyline with how the Knicks built their team through the free agency and trades, and how OKC built their team mostly through drafting and developing, and then adding some guys like Caruso, or adding storyline right there, Isaiah Hartenstein. So, them having iHeart will be a big storyline because he used to be a Knick, and the Knicks weren't able to pay him as much as the Thunder were. So let's get back into the conversation. 888-808-1019. A couple more things that I have from my notes, but I want to hear from you guys. I'll play some more audio as well. We'll hear from Stephen A. Smith on who the best player in this series is and who's the best player in these playoffs. Aaron is in Nassau County on the Fan. What's up, Aaron? Hanging out, talking the talk.
Man, I feel you. I just got dinged by one of those Queen cameras, so I'm fired up, man. I'm gonna say this before I get into what I want to talk about, which is the Knicks. Like, it's all I want to talk about. But everybody was talking about like the Yankees, Juan Soto, the Mets, all that. The thing about that is just Juan Soto's going through the stages of losing a baddie, because the Yankees are to me, right? They're the best organization in baseball ever. So once you're away from that, you think like maybe all organizations are like that. And when you get away from it, you realize, hey, maybe it's not really the case. I think he's just dealing with that adjustment, but he'll get back to who he is, knocking out home runs, shuffling, doing all that. So he just needs to like accept the fact that he chose the Mets over the Yankees, which obviously isn't the best.
It'll get easier with time, but in the analogy of the baddie, it's like you lost a baddie that you like have to see every week. Like you live in her neighborhood, or you work at her job. Like you're reminded every day. Like even the media members. That's what I said about Juan Soto. I'm like, Juan ducked the media members on Sunday Night Baseball. Some of those same people, mostly the same people, traveled up to Boston. You can't duck them. You'll see them the next day.
They want to hear. They want to know. This is New York. Like, and it's a thing. It's a thing here. The two baseball teams, two basketball teams, even though it wasn't always like that, but it's like the two-team thing. It's like, and if you go from one side to the other, you got to deal with consequences there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, someone in my chat said the thing about Juan Soto is he didn't go far enough away. Like Robinson Cano, he went to Seattle, so he was in two different time zones. Like he was on. He was never even on TV when we were playing. It was just out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, but he didn't go far enough, and then he went to the quote unquote little brother. You know, everybody. Then you have to deal with like the whole chop shop thing going in. It's just a different vibe than Yankee Stadium.
And honestly, bro, not to cut you off, I thought Juan Soto was the type of player that could handle that because it had never been done before. And I'm like, Juan Soto is different. He can handle that. He can go from Yankees to Mets and wear it and deal with it. And he hasn't. But like, it's honestly crazy what we're watching, like him not shuffling, him struggling. Now the team struggling. That price tag on him is, we'll see. It's, yeah.
15 years to figure it out. He made a big nut decision, and then now he just has to stand on that,
Yeah, he's got to shake out of it. And I think time heals all wounds. So if he is a little bit hurt, it's just the season is long, and with more time, he's just gonna settle in, and that's all it is. It's still early in the adjustment period.
Yeah, he'll figure it out. But enough of that. We talk about Juan Soto enough in the AM, in the morning. So what I want to talk about now is the Knicks, the best NBA team that there is, the most complete NBA team that there is currently. Yeah, I do believe. I not only do I believe we're going to win the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe we're going to win it all. Like, I know that a lot of people, like, you can't really say that, Jason, da. I don't care. I think that I genuinely believe that the New York Knicks.
Good time to cue up Brunson.
It's in the air.
Stephen A. talking about Brunson.
When you walk through Manhattan, you can see it when you walk through New York as a whole.
It's there.
I heard you. Appreciate the call, Aaron. Copy. And I'm here for it. You know, it's not going to pain me as a Net fan to see the Knicks win a championship. I'm in New York. I've been in New York since 2014. And I literally went to college, and the Yankees won the World Series when I was in college. And I thought I was just so arrogant as a Yankee fan. I'm like, oh, by the time I graduate and get a job in the city, I'll probably see 2-3 more parades. Hasn't been one. I graduated 2011. The Giants had their parade. I didn't come up for that in 2012. It's kind of crazy, right? Like, for this city, the amount of people, the amount of teams that we have, the Liberty won, but they can't have a big parade. And you saw the massive amount of people outside the Garden after they won Game 6 against the Celtics. This Knicks parade will be Project X. It'll be Armageddon. I think I joked that the Manhattan would sink into the Hudson River. Everything would be shut down. There will be who is going to work? Who is going I do feel it in the air. I do see the change in people. Hopefully, like I was saying last week on Friday, I'm hopefully crime is down. Hopefully people aren't doing anything crazy because the Knicks are up so people could be happy. But the pathway is there. They can beat the Pacers. And they can beat Oklahoma City. They have the most clutch player in the league who is a demon in the fourth quarter. They have the talent. That's why they went out and added Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges to OG and Josh Hart. The way they built this team to win a championship, not to just be contenders, but to be the finals winners. Let's hear from Stephen A., a New Yorker, a Knick fan, and hear from Stephen A. on who he thinks is the best player left in these playoffs and this upcoming series, because a lot of times that's who the winner is. Steph Curry, LeBron, Kobe, whoever the best player is. And as I mentioned those names, there's one player that's name is starting to pop up with the likes of those type of guys. Let's hear from Stephen A.
Jalen Brunson is clearly the best player in the playoffs. I think Gilbert's synopsis is right on point. Shea Gilgeous, soon to be MVP, best player, but best player this postseason. Jalen Brunson, best player the last 3 postseasons.
Nah, tell him to call back.
30 a game.
Nah, we don't do that.
The reason I bring up Ant-Man, however, is because if there's one person that has the ability to eclipse the greatness we are witnessing elsewhere, it is that brother. On center stage, this man, Anthony Edwards, can take the hell over and debunk all of that talk. So I get it that Jalen Brunson is the best playoff dude, like Gil said, like you said, Peter. I get that Shea Gilgeous is the best in terms of all around from beginning of the season to now, and he's about to win the MVP. But there's somebody in the mix that can steal thunder from both of them, and it's Ant-Man.
Nah, I mean, it's Brunson. I'm not jacking it with Ant-Man. And as you know, we have the box score from the game tonight or last night. Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards had 18 points. He was a minus 23 on the floor. He had the worst plus minus on the team. I didn't watch the game, but he's a liability. He was 3 for 8 shooting threes, 5 of 13 from the field. 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Julius Randle, back-to-back games. The closeout game in the last series, Randle had 29. He led them in scoring. Julius Randle had 28 to lead them in scoring. Man, OKC is real. They have the MVP, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 31 points tonight. And then they also have a cast of characters around him. I don't know, man. I don't want to say that really the matchup that you would want to see for, the styles and the amount of players they play is Oklahoma City, Indiana. But I just think the Knicks are tougher. And like Stephen A. just said, they have the best player in the series. So when Brunson gets the ball in his hand, he can slow down the pace. When Brunson gets the ball in his hand, he's automatic. He can score a bucket. You go play defense. They don't score. You're going and putting the ball in the hoop again. So when I say they have a cast of characters around SGA, he had 31 tonight. He was a plus 22. He's the best player on the floor by a lot. But then also Jalen Williams had 19. He was a plus 13. Their first round pick, Chet Holmgren, had 15 points. He was plus 18. And they filled up the stat sheet with blocks and steals. And like Jalen Williams had 5 steals. And I don't know. I wish I watched. I'm going to go home tonight and definitely watch the highlights. That's another thing, too, doing this radio job. Like, especially being on at night. I guess if I was home, I could watch the Red Sox, the Yankees, and OKC, Minnesota. But like I like to go to the game, and obviously I was at the game on behalf of WFAN. Shout out to Mark Zuckerman and the sales guy. Seth was in there. I think like Jack Daniels was in there. Morgan and Morgan, Surfside. Like, you know, you got to schmooze a little bit. You got to rub shoulders a little bit on behalf of the station. So I wasn't trying to watch, and I don't have to. I was watching the Red Sox or the Mets versus Red Sox on my phone. I was watching the Yankees live, and I knew we wouldn't really break down the Oklahoma City Thunder game. We're just really getting ready for now game 1 of the Knicks Pacers. And I think it bodes well. I think in the last round, the road team had won the first game of every series. Well, the home team won the first game of the Western Conference Finals. I expect the home team to win the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's go to Texas, Houston. Liam on the Fan in New York.
You already know, wow, this is going to be huge. This is going to be, I mean, this is great. So I got a couple questions for you, Keith. Thanks for having me on. If the Knicks do win the championship and win the NBA Finals, where do you see Jalen Brunson go down in as a Knick great or Knick history?
Oh, iconic. Jersey in the rafters. I know they don't put statues out there, but they were ready to build this guy a statue when he took less money to help build this team the way this team is built. This modern era of Knicks fans and social media, it makes it even bigger. Like Jalen Brunson being the captain of this team, the point guard, the best player on this team, a guy that came to this team and wasn't an all-star, and a guy that became an all-star and became the first Clutch Player of the Year award winner. Like he's going to be immortalized if they can win this whole thing. There's one chip. I'm telling you, bro. Like I just already can visualize what this city is going to be shut down for a whole day and night of that parade. And this man, we want to talk about King of New York. Shout out to Judge, even Lindor. There's levels to this. Like Brunson is going to ascend to a level that we haven't seen around here.
300%. And when you say about celebrating the streets of New York, you know, you take a look at, you know, how Philly does it. You know how they did it when they went to the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, and it's crazy. I suspect, you know, we don't mess around in New York. It's gonna be 10 times.
I actually did see on Barstool NYC's Instagram today that they are greasing up the polls now because, you know, guys climbed up and got on the billboards and stuff outside of Madison Square Garden. So now they do have people kind of putting some slick material on there with like these like brushes and mops. But you know what, too? I don't expect people to be going crazy like that tonight after the first win. Thanks for the call, Liam. 888-808-1019. I think it's different now. You've been in the second round, right? The Knicks get out of the second round. I think there's going to be a little bit more of a calm, a little bit more of a subdued celebration, a little bit more of a job's not finished. I think you were kind of losing your mind last round because no one thought that the Knicks could beat the Celtics. I think some of the celebration was just like absolute shock. Like, yo, we took the first game. We took the second game. Yo, we're up 3-1. Yo, we're closing up. We're actually about to advance for the first time in a long time. But now that you're there, I don't expect to see anybody on a billboard tomorrow night. I don't expect the streets to be flooded. Yeah, you're going to get the little bit of a crowd outside of Madison Square Garden. One, fans exiting. But also, I don't expect to see that because, again, they're not doing the watch party outside. So you're not going to have that big pit of people out there. They're going to be at Radio City Music Hall. Radio City Music Hall, that's mad far from Madison Square Garden. People aren't going to walk from Radio City Music Hall in the rain to Madison Square Garden for, TikToks and reels and celebrating the first win of the Eastern Conference Finals. I think you'll see some celebrations. You'll see some high fives, some dancing, some happy fans, but I don't think you're going to see the viral nature of these like mobs and like the crowd surfing and the jumping up and down and just like madness that we saw Friday or even after game 1 and game 2. Let's go to Antonio out in Dover Plains. You're on the Fan. What's up, Antonio?
Hey, Keith, what's going on? I hope you remember me. You hang up on me on Friday, man. I don't appreciate that, bro. I listen to you every day on my way home from work.
I hang up on everybody at some point. What'd you say on Friday?
I don't want to repeat it. You probably hang up on me again.
I don't even remember, but
nah, you were talking about Juan Soto. I was so excited with the Knicks winning. I said,
oh, I remember. The show was ending, and you said like, why aren't we talking about the Knicks? I was like, you didn't listen to the show. The whole open I did, we played the Go New York, Go New York, Go. We were naming throwback Knick players. I was taking nonstop Knick calls. I was talking all about everything, but like I also had came from Friday Subway Series, Juan Soto's return to Yankee Stadium. We do both. If you haven't noticed, they haven't stopped talking about Juan Soto, even while the Knicks are about to play in the Eastern Conference Finals. All of the hosts have been talking about Juan Soto every day since Juan Soto signed.
But I was so excited with the Knicks winning, and then I'm a truck driver. I listen to you every day, and I was like, and then when I turned in, I was like, why is he talking about Juan Soto? But anyway, I want to talk about Juan Soto real quick. But I hope you let me talk about the Knicks. I'm very excited about the Knicks. With Juan Soto, I don't know if you guys saw this when he was with the Yankees last year, but he's constantly talking with the catcher from the other team. I don't understand that. I never see him talking with Lindor or with Alonso, and I hope he understands that he has young kids that look up to him. He has the Dominican nation that look up to him to complete what he has to do with the Mets. I hope he understands that because I have young daughters and when we found out that Soto found out with the Mets, they literally were flying. And I hope he understands that we make life decisions that we agree or don't agree, but we got to man up and deal with it. The Knicks. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, let me respond to the Soto stuff. Soto would show up the ump, show up the pitcher. I remember last year he bopped Alvarez on the head. He talked to everybody. He owned that batter's box. I think now he's kind of looking for like when I saw him with Austin Wells, it was almost like a cop out, like a comfort thing, like a kind of breaking the ice thing, like a nervous energy type thing. Like, yeah, like I'm getting booed. Hey, how's it going? Like kind of a distraction. Now, you brought up a great point about these kids, right? These young Met fans that like got Juan Soto and got Juan Soto jerseys and are pumped up and he's their Superman. You know what they need to do with Juan Soto? When he comes back home on Thursday, on his off day, make him go do some type of charity thing with some kids. Make him show up somewhere where there are some young kids that are baseball fans, specifically some Mets fans somewhere in Queens, so we can get that perspective of like, yo, look at how these kids look at you, bro. Look at what you mean to these kids. Everybody doesn't hate you. The Yankee fans might have booed you, but everybody doesn't hate you. Like these kids want to see you hit home runs and play well. Snap out of it.
Yeah, I hope he understands that because and like I told you, and DR, he's like a god, and we expect more than this from him. But with the Knicks. I think I have a bad taste from last year with Indiana. I can't stand Indiana. I can't stand Reggie Miller. I hope he doesn't.
Queue up Halliburton.
See the games on ESPN. I don't want to hear his voice talking about downgrading the Knicks. And CJ McCollum, I cannot stand that. We need to beat Indiana. And if we win it all, do you think New York City can handle? Do you think they have the enforcement to control us Knicks fans? Because we're gonna go crazy.
No, yeah, no, you got it, Antonio. And yeah, you know, if I hang up on you, I hang up on everybody. We like honestly, I give everybody more run than any. Like I listen to the shows all day, and they be trying to get y'all out the paint. What's your point? What you got? You guys can't even start telling your stories about where you work or why you're calling, whatever. It's like, you know, and I get it because they have 4 voices talking. And they have reads and they have more breaks. And part of the liberty that I have having one break that's coming up in about the next 4 minutes is that I can have more of a conversation with you. I can, like, Antonio didn't want to tell me, like, no, tell me. Oh, I remember the call now. And like, that's okay. And I'll clear it up for you. Before I go into my next point about the Knicks, the Dodgers ended up breaking their losing streak. They win in 10 innings, 4-3. And Chad, I know you guys were on it, but now I just went to the box score and saw it. So the Dodgers get a win. Will the Mets shake things up and get a win against Garrett Crochet? Maybe, maybe not. Antonio was just talking about this rivalry and wanting revenge and, Reggie Miller and all that. Let's hear from Tyrese Halliburton, Mr. I'm not overrated, Mr. Wally Zerbiak. I remember what you said about me and, his thoughts about last year's matchup against the Knicks team where Brunson broke his hand. Josh Hart had an abdominal injury. OG had a hamstring. Mitchell Robinson had an ankle. And like the Knicks literally there were no Knicks left to play. They were not able to survive that game 7 physically. Here's Tyrese Halliburton from the Indiana Pacers.
It's a lot of fun, man. I think last year the series was a lot of fun, back and forth. I felt like nobody could win 2 games in a row until we were able to do it. And I think that going into the series, I think that they didn't like the organization, but I don't think there were certain guys that their fans didn't like. Now, they don't really like us too much. So it's all the fun with it, man. And like I said, excited to add more chapters to this, story, rivalry, and just continue to be a part of it. Yeah, man, I look forward to playing in that building, and I look forward to the crowd environment. It's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that my dad won't be able to go. So, yeah, I look forward to the environment for sure.
Did he say it's a good thing that my dad won't be able to go? Yeah, I think his dad is straight up banned for the whole thing with Giannis. And that is probably a good thing because, like, you come to New York with that smoke, somebody is checking you. I think I joked about Karl Anthony Towns' dad. It might be Tracy Morgan that checks Tyrese Halliburton's pops. 888-808-1019. Let me get this Mets call in as I was talking about the Dodgers losing and kind of setting up this upcoming weekend series, Memorial Day weekend in Queens. Now the Dodgers get a win, and yeah, they've had some injuries with their pitching, but they still have their lineup intact. And here in the 9th and in the 10th, they do what they got to do to salvage a win after being swept and after taking I think they play tomorrow. Either way, they won. Let me get this Mets call in before we go to break. Artie in Nutley, New Jersey on the Fan. It's your turn. Artie, you got it.
Hey, just, to me, people are trying to figure out what's wrong. He's miserable. He went from being a Yankee to being a Met. And, all the other teams he was on, he never behaved like this. And if he really wanted to be the leader of the Mets, he would have stepped right in and done that. And he hasn't done that. It's because I think he's realized that he's a part of a corny team with a corny culture, with a corny uniform. And other players, they act corny and they embrace corny things like Christmas and all these dopey songs. And I think it's hitting him. And he's like, I was a Yankee and now I'm a Met. And I think that's what his problem is. His kid is miserable. I mean, he's moping around the field. We never saw him like this before. And I think he's pressing. He's not pressing. He's miserable. He's in the fans. To me, the fans, and then they're like, oh, why are Yankee fans worried about him? It's because of you. It's getting posted, the actual tough. They're trying to erase 100 years of Yankee excellence because they're trying to do one guy. And that's why we act like this, because you are annoying when you live acting like that. And that's my opinion. We're not let it more social media and Yankees so much with the Mets fans wasn't so annoying about it. And then they sit there and to this day, they're acting like he's the next book, but no, you guys are annoying. If you weren't so annoying, you wouldn't be so annoying. And it's no wonder to work on, if they behave the way they did. If you can't win owning that team, there's really some nonsense going on over there. People in some parents who heard these guys and hey, owning that team and all the responsibilities that happen. What you have to do is you give this guy his money and this is what he gets. I don't know, maybe you want to turn it around. I don't even hate Juan Soto. I'm only laughing at all this because of where the Mets candidate when they who eliminated them last year as well. Not the Yankees. What are you doing? At least stay out of it. Stay humble and don't say anything. I had people texting me, oh, I hope the Dodgers take this. I'm like, why? They're just putting you home for the next 20 years. You know, the way this is going. And you're just, I know. I'm sorry, I don't mean to rant in your ear.
Thanks for the call, Artie. The topic said Mets. I thought you were a Mets fan. I thought you were gonna talk to me about Francisco Alvarez or Jeff McNeil or not having Jesse Winker or Jose Siri and having to rely on Tyrone Taylor all the time and I don't know, Starling Marte and what to do with Brandon Nimmo and not having him be the cleanup hitter and Mark Vientos not being the 30 homer guy that we thought he was gonna be. And do we shake up the top of the lineup with these three big money players indoors, Soto, Alonso, to kind of stretch the lineup out more? I don't. I disagree. I don't care. I don't care to talk anymore about what Juan Soto feels. We don't know. I disagree that like the loneliness of the Mets, like that's such a fan thing. They are paying him well. They are paying him a ridiculous amount of money to play baseball. This guy is a baseball player. Like, I don't think he cares about the grimace OMG stuff from last year. They're not even doing it. And like I said, I don't think that there's that much of a difference when you have a billionaire owner. I think that anything that the Yankees do that the Mets can do just as well, just as like first class or like I don't think like the equipment room or the training room or the weightlifting or the physical therapy is like lesser than we're not talking about like the Pittsburgh Pirates versus the Yankees. Like I bet that their facilities and the people that they employ are just as good as the Yankees. I just think it's an adjustment. What I will say is Juan Soto is young. He did play for 4 teams, so I do think that he got the contrast, obviously playing in Maryland, then going to California, coming to New York, but I think he is young, and I don't think that I think this is a big mistake. We heard about him, like, changing his number and not contacting or not talking to any of his Yankee teammates. I think that was a huge mistake because he underestimated what it would be like to go to the highest bidder across town and stay in the city. It'd be one thing if the highest bidder was in Toronto. It'd be another thing if the highest bidder was the Dodgers, right? It's one thing for you to stay in the division and take the most money. It's one thing for you to go across the country in a different time zone and take the most money. It is a whole different beast for you to stay in New York City and think that you could live. That's why I was laughing the other day. I'm like, you guys spent a lot of time talking about what the Yankee fan was gonna do. I knew what they were gonna do, and it was crazier than I thought it was gonna be. 888-808-1019, and it's not going away. I listen to guys on the station say, "Oh, it's just gonna be this." No, this is forever. He's a Met forever. Queens is his home forever, and there are Yankee fans that will there are Yankee fans that just love this part of it. They love to go to the stadium and chant F Altuve. Now it's F1 Soto. They wanna buy those. I'm laughing. They are selling F1 Soto shirts, Soto suck shirts, and Soto who shirts outside of Yankee Stadium, and people are buying them up. I'm good on it. All I wanted was that first initial Juan Soto returns in a Met uniform to right field. Juan Soto gets booed, heckled. We turn our backs on him. We got signs. We chant every single thing, and we neutralize this dude where he cannot be the generational talent of Juan Soto, where he does not come in and kill us. He doesn't come in and hit 3 home runs. He doesn't come in and lead the Mets to a series victory. None of that happened. Done. So we'll see what happens July 4th weekend. 888-808-1019. I've got 20 minutes left, so let's break it down. I've cleared all my calls. It's wide open if you want to get a call in on Juan Soto, on the Mets, on the Yankees, on the Knicks Pacers series. When we come back, I'll hit you with some stuff, my opinion on this whole flag football thing, Shador Sanders and Brock Purdy, and a couple other NFL things that I just wanted to get into the mix here. Keith McPherson on the Fan, wrapping things up in the next 20 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. Oh man. I'm tired, man. I want to cut my hair, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna just get it retwisted up tomorrow, refreshed tomorrow. I had the braids in for like 2 weeks. Now I just got it. Honestly, if I cut it already, if I didn't cut it, my hair would probably be down to like my chest. But it's just so annoying to have to like manage as a grown man. But I work at a radio station and hang out with a lot of people that are bald. So having hair, it's a flex. Um, it also took me 7 years to grow my hair. So like there's no turning back now type like if it took this long, it's not worth it to let it go now. It's also like synonymous with my look. Like I ran into someone at Yankee Stadium in the elevator and I was like, "How'd you know it was me?" They're like, "Your hair." I was like, "Yeah, dead giveaway," which is good and bad because then you can't really hide. Um, but no, the real thing for me is it's like part of my journey. 7 years ago, the summer of 2018, I quit my job at Rock Nation. We actually put a video together. I went and read my old, like, journal entries on my YouTube videos. You guys that are on YouTube, if you just go to the regular videos, I have some old journal entries. We just shot another one Monday, and we're gonna put that out soon of me talking about that summer, May of 2018, like, getting that job and quitting that job in 3 months and realizing that, like, I was doing social media marketing, video editing, content for other people, and that I needed to, like, apply what I learned and do it for myself, and I had, like, a eureka moment that, like, yo, the sooner I start, the better chance I have of doing this, and I remember I went to Coachella in May of 2018, and I had this, like, mohawk. It was, like, blonde on top, and it was like a mohawk. Those videos are on my old YouTube channel. But long story short, short story long, I cut my hair to, like, conform for the job. I thought I needed to have, like, a low Caesar fade. I wore, like, a shirt and tie, like a dork to work, and then I got clowned at work. People like, "Why are you dressed like that?" And even the girl I interview with, she's like, "You cut your hair?" I'm like, "Yeah," you know. So, at that point, I was like, I'm not cutting my hair for the foreseeable future." I'm like, "This is the last haircut I'm gonna get, and whatever my hair looks like is gonna look like." So that was 2018, 19, 2020, I got a little bit of a fro. We fall into the pandemic, they closed the barbershops, and, if there's any, like, black dudes in the chat, you know the little foam coiler that they use to, like, coil their fro, you know? So I had the foiler, and I instead of, like, combing my fro out, I started to use the coiler, and my hair started to lock, and so once I got the locks, they were much shorter than this, but I had the start of the locks, and then my hair grew real long, and my girl liked it, my mom liked it, I liked it, and now I can't get rid of it. Now I'm just like, I gotta pay a lot of money to maintenance it, take care of it, but it's worth it, man. It is worth it because I feel like it's all connected. I feel like it's part of what set me apart, how I got noticed, and, like, how I kind of became, like, all these videos and stuff have me, like, looking like this, and, I remember one of my friends that I have now, when he met me, he was like, "Bro, you're different, bro." He's like, "Everything about you." He's like, "Bro, your voice, your hair." He's like, "When I first saw you, you were wearing all pinstripes." He's like, "A black dude with dreads that likes baseball, and then, like, you know everything about all these different sports." And he's like, "You also rap and DJ." I'm like, "Yeah, man. Yeah, man." Don't judge a book by its cover. Bro, today, I was in the suite level today. I sat next to this old lady, and the seat next to her said reserved. And someone brought me there to meet her. But when I sat in the seat, she was like, "You can't sit here." And I'm like, I'm not trying to sit here. I'm in this suite, 2 suites over. They specifically brought me in here to meet you because you're somebody of influence and so am I. But you see a 6'2", 210 black dude come in with dreads, it's like, "You can't sit here." Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Man, I remember when this track first came out, I was like, wow. Joey crack. Joe is one still envy. Fat Joe. There's no such thing as a Fat Joe curse. Shout out to our boss here, Ryan Hurley. He was thinking that Fat Joe was gonna curse the Knicks. He sent me the gif of Fat Joe. He's like, "Yo, tell Fat Joe." I'm like, Fat Joe is going to be courtside. He's going to be on the hardwood. He's now got this podcast, Fat Joe and Jadakiss, where he talks about like, no, I gotta be front row at the Garden. I gotta be, and he pays. And he's got the money to pay for it. And he loves the Knicks and he loves the Yankees too. Joe is my man. When I was in the MLB Fan Cave in 2014, they did a show called Off the Bat on MTV2, and Joe had just got out of jail and he was just kind of getting his feet wet in like media again. And Joe would come to the Fan Cave and he would tell us all these BX stories, all these Bronx tales. He would just, and like he's such a great storyteller and a wordsmith and just a character, yo. He's got every pair of Jordan sneakers, every pair of retro Jordans. Um, and then I kept running into Joey. 2018, I worked at Rock Nation. I ran into Joey over there. I've run into Joey. We've been on some of the same airplanes more than once. Um, I got love for Joey Crack. I got love for Fat Joe. BX. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Anyway, I was gonna talk football a little bit. Um, Olympics, right? I saw this thing with the Olympics today, and I'm like, okay, I know I've said this on the fan before, and I got to get this out there so that when it happens, I'm just like, who told you? So it's official now. NFL owners voted for a permit for players to participate in flag football at the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Okay, so it's probably going to be at SoFi where the Rams and the Chargers play. But flag football is for 5 to 7-year-olds. Like, when your kid starts to play football young, before they can put pads on, before they can actually hit, that's who plays flag football. Flag football is also for girls. Like, if we're gonna compete in football Americano, put helmets on, put shoulder pads on, line up 11 on 11. Let's hit. Let's but they don't wanna hit. Football has gone soft. We already have flag football in the Pro Bowl, right? They've already replaced the Pro Bowl with flag, and this is the first step. Follow me here. The NFL wants to grow the game globally. I think there's a game in Spain this year. They've been to Brazil. They've been to Mexico. They've been to Germany. Obviously, they're in London multiple times a year. They want to globalize the NFL game, the football Americano. They want to bring football to other countries. No country will ever catch us. No country will yeah, other countries are able to compete with us in basketball. Obviously, soccer, they dominate. Even World Baseball Classic. No one will ever catch us in football. This will allow them to catch us. And this is the first step to no tackle football even in the NFL. It's 2025. Give it another 25 years. By 2050, they're going to eliminate the helmets, the shoulder pads, the tackling, and we're going to be watching flag football on Sundays. I might not be watching it though. 888-808-1019. I'm a football player myself. Like, I grew up playing football from age 8 on to 22, and literally gave up my scholarship my 5th year. One of the only people ever was like, you can have the scholarship. I'm just going to be a regular student. I'm over getting tackled. I'm over going to study hall. I'm over going to running and practice and lifting all the time. But like, you'll learn a lot about yourself on that football field. It'll make a man out of you for sure. Getting hit, like getting knocked on your ass and having to get up in front of like 80 other dudes and like do drills over and over again and then like practice and like yeah. So I don't know. Men are getting soft anyway. They're just demasculinizing men in general. But I'm seeing this flag football stuff. I could care less about it. I'm like NFL players are gonna play in it, and the first thing I thought is like, yeah, okay, go let an NFL player play in that and sprain an ankle or pull a hamstring or separate a shoulder or something and let it compromise their actual NFL. It'd be stupid. It'd be stupid playing flag football. 888-808-1019. We're supposed to be talking about Juan Soto and the Mets and the Yankees and the Knicks ahead of the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's get back to it before I run out of time. John in Brooklyn on the fan. What's up, John? Good. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, and one thing I gotta say about this Soto thing is these Yankee fans are putting too much intel of Soto, and I know that Yankee fans don't watch Met games, so I don't know how much they put into this from just watching highlights. Like the last quarter, the Canadian said, I saw one Soto just our first game. One game. You saw one game, dude, and you made it more good. I say that he's not happy. Just let it go, man. It's going to go 2 years to adjust to that team. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. He's going to be good. And when he gets in the playoffs, the Juan Soto is going to talk out, baby.
Yeah. Not to cut you off, but like he's got no choice. I spiraled thinking that Devin Williams was unhappy. That they changed the beard policy for Devin Williams. What else could they do for Devin Williams? I'm like, how is he going to figure it out? Maybe he's not cut out for here, and he's figured it out by competing, by being thrown into the fire. Juan Soto will compete. Juan Soto is getting paid a lot of money to,
He got no choice. That's all.
No choice.
And I told you about that about Williams. Give him time. His resume shows you that he's a slow starter too as it grows up. And now he's warming up. It wasn't getting better. He's gonna be fine. And Soto's gonna be fine. He's gonna turn the corner when it starts getting serious and his best. They take on the back, the numbers, they tell you all that. They don't lie. So he's gonna be good, man. Unless he turns out to be too hard, and then that's the problem, bro.
I don't see it though. He's 26 years old. We've seen enough of his prowess that he's going to get back. And like I think the weather plays a part of it. When it's 95 degrees, 85 degrees consistently every week, that's definitely going to help. And I just think this too shall pass. Like Owen said, like this is just a bad stretch. But that's baseball. You're going to go through bad stretches. You're going to go through media and nonsense, propaganda, and all this other stuff. And yeah, the Yankee fan is absolutely leaning into it. I was leaning into it. I'm just over it as far as like my show. I'll lean into it on the internet, like on the show. I'm just like, we talked about Juan Soto last Wednesday, Thursday, because Juan Soto got the off day Wednesday. So that's what started the conversation. Like, yo, they gave him an extra day off to prepare for the Subway Series.
Yeah, they did. And it's your job. So you got to talk about it. The other game was like too much. I guess it's too ridiculous.
Yeah, we didn't win anything. Like honestly, we won the Subway Series, but there is nothing. There is no trophy to be had with like right now. What Yankee fans are saying is, they got the bum version of Juan Soto. They didn't get the version that we got. Like yeah, for right now, we had 1 year. They got 15 years. There is a chance that one of those 15 years is a World Series year, whereas Juan Soto MVP year, whereas Juan Soto statistically better than 2024 year. It can happen.
Yeah, like you're that fan, and you see the way they and you're not here hating. You hear like what I go through it. That's the strategy, man. Like these Yankee fans, I feel like the Mets are state. Like what you or even the Mets fans with the Yankees, like last year, I was rooting for the Yankees. Why would I want the Dodgers to win? I'm from New York, bro. Put the money here, like here. You go at Nick, Jets, whatever. Islanders, Rangers, whatever, man. Just keep the money out here.
Yeah, no, I want to see somebody around here win. Thanks for the call, John. Like, I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, the Warriors. I'm good. The Boston Celtics. I'm cool on that. Like I want to see a New York team win and celebrate. And like I work on WFAN. Whenever one of these teams wins, like we're gonna be involved. We're gonna throw some type of party. Sometime like if there's a parade, we're gonna be like, I seen the videos and the pictures of like Mike and Mad Dog in the parade on like riding down on it with a WFAN car. I'm like, damn, they could be in the parade. Like, yeah, of course. If the Knicks win, why wouldn't there be some type of WFAN affiliated after party celebration, something? I'm not hating. Like, and I'm a Net fan, but I'm not a dumbass. And that's why I look at some of these Nets fans, and I'm like, you about dumb as you're such a small group. I know you failed math. This is something you can't win. You're punching up and you're punching air. You are in such a small minority compared to the majority of of Knicks fans compared to Nets fans. Stand down. Stand down, or you're just gonna keep being disappointed. There are Nets fans that are mad at this Knicks run. This Knicks run, I'm not losing any sleep over this. Why would I compound how bummy the Nets were this season and how that lottery ball bounced back 2 spots? Why would I add to that and be like, "Oh, the Knicks are about to go to the Eastern Conference Finals." Yeah, they are. So what? Like, and even with this Juan Soto stuff, I'm off of it. But like, I understand we're gonna talk about it for a long time. For me, like, I got my pound of flesh Friday. I'm good. Mike is in Portland on the fan next. What's up, Mike? I was gonna say, yeah, you're coming a little scratchy. You're good now.
Okay. Let me make a lineup thing first, change, and then I want to do your sort of comment. What I would do, and I've called you plenty of times before, on the sign with the Mets, to pick on Soto. I would do first. I would put him in the second, okay? A lot of not back in front of Soto, okay? I said this before I left the sign, okay? A lot of us see more fastballs. A lot of guys are behind 300 or 280. He's at 260. You'll see more fastballs that Soto behind him. Let's Soto back clean up. And what the full lineup falls out after that, as it may. I've been saying that forever. So a lot of us got back in front of Soto. I saw something with Soto signing with the Mets. The Yankees put in an abysmal performance in the World Series next year. It was the Soto and Judge show the whole year. They kept me that game the whole year. So if you're in the off season, okay, why would you go to the Yankees? Yankees spent 67 million on you. What else are they going to get? What else are they going to get? The Mets already have a nice young core. You have a chance to win with the Mets. That's what.
Yeah, you're right about that. I'm just out of time, but I think that's definitely a point that is not said enough. The Yankees would have got Juan Soto and stopped. And Juan Soto himself knew that you needed more on the team. You needed more than just him and Judge. Richard and Hal, you got like 30 seconds. Go for it.
Hey, Keith, real quick. I'm a Mets fan. My question for you is, why do the Mets fans hate on Jeff McNeil so much? Because they love Brendan Nimmo when McNeil got better career numbers.
Attitude. Thanks for the call. Everybody loves Nimmo's attitude and personality. They don't love Jeff McNeil's attitude and personality. You know, and I just started putting that lineup together. Lindor, McNeil, Alonso, Soto. That's 3 lefties in your first 4 hitters. So then you gotta I'm gonna put Vientos there. You're not gonna put Nimmo behind Soto, then you have I don't know. But something's gotta happen. Something's gotta shake up this clubhouse and this lineup in a positive way. Because I think they are certainly shaken by the Subway Series, the Juan Soto narratives, and everything else. All right, I'm out of here. Big Mac's coming up next. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Fan. Good night. All right, I'm so tired. I'm shot, yo. Appreciate y'all watching and rocking with me. Hit like on the way out. If you're not on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. I'll throw it into the chat for anybody on Twitter. We'll do this again tomorrow. Again, thank you. Thank you. Another one. Good night.